Gonna be angry about it until I have it fixed. Fuck! There we go. We're fixed. All right, don't worry about it. On the bright side, I know exactly the problem now, so it doesn't take me too long dicking around with it. Good evening, everybody. My audio shit was fucked because I forgot. That's okay, because now it's not. Y'all can hear me, and yeah. So, welcome to another episode of the Go Saltmarsh Champagne that we do here on Mondays at Hard Knock Dice. I'm Ian, the Dungeon Master, as stated by my little nameplate down below my face. These gentlemen around me are the adventurers. I'm not going to give them a label outside of that. We're just going to... I don't want to put you guys in a box. I'll let you guys have your creative freedom to be whatever you want. So, they play their characters and stuff. Most of the time. I'm pretty sure they do anyway. It's kind of my general assumption. But, before we get in to the recap from last week, standard announcement, we are still doing our charity drive for Extra Life, which is a charity that benefits children's hospitals across continental North America, meaning the United States and Canada. So, they're cool. They help out kids. Specifically, we will be benefiting the Children's Hospital of Atlanta. They're building a new hospital so they can help more sick kids more efficiently and effectively. So that's a good thing. You should check out the link down below in both descriptions at this juncture on both the YouTubes and the Twitch. That aside, you can also win some cool stuff if you choose to donate, like a digital copy of Tasha's College and Everything at $1,500, a SteelSeries Gaming mouse at $2,500, and a SteelSeries Gaming keyboard. You can't see my hands, so this isn't as effective, but at $3,500. So, open your hearts and wallets. It's a good cause. Unless anybody else has any other announcements. Yes, no, maybe so. Nope. Fantastic. Well, last week on the Ghost of Saltmarsh. Don't look so surprised. Calm down. It's fine. Last week on Ghost of Saltmarsh, our heroes were attempting to lay a trap for an insidious, knife-wielding threat that fucked their shit up pretty bad in the marshes like a day and a half ago. Their plan was to have Bart pose as a young cow herder, from what I gathered, who was lazing about on the edges of the camp. Alas, this was not to come to fruition as they heard the scream of somebody getting stabbed to death on the other side of the camp. So they proceeded to investigate, finding a couple of dead bodies before very shortly thereafter hearing a couple of more very quickly cut off screams from slightly down farther along the perimeter of the camp. Following along to these, they heard nothing before eventually proceeding along the perimeter, telling the guards that were trying to investigate themselves to stay back and keep an eye on things right within the camp while they took a look around. They came across one more body that was hidden, kind of semi-hidden, within some brush, but not his partner. And while they were investigating this, they were ambushed by the knife-wielding, spooky, demonic force, presumably that is a servant of Orcus, that dealt out quite a hefty bit of damage. Bart going down. Jakob not really I think he got hit once, all told. Julian throwing up some magical shielding to keep himself from getting slapped like a motherfucker like last time. And Gloob also going down and very nearly dying. In one hit, I might add. That was a butthole clencher right there, if I do say so myself. But whittling their foe down as guards approached to assist them, one stepped forward from among them and spoke up, congratulating them on their battle and speaking that he was impressed and glad that he had come to see them, before uttering a phrase in a language that none of you understand and a wave of magic washing over the guards around him when they all dropped motionless. One more round of combat ensued where you guys were able to finish off your knife-wielding assailant and bloody your blade on his more human counterpart before the guard said his farewells and performed another bit of magic, causing himself and the body of your previous assailant to disappear. In the aftermath, you all investigated and found that the guards that had dropped were all dead. simultaneously, instantaneously, from whatever magic it was he performed. Guards came to investigate, started fanning out and looking around, coming to the conclusion that the enemy combatants were long gone. Sending out some people to hopefully get some more information on maybe who the traitor was, as well as beginning to speak to Firebrand. It was still drawn to the conclusion that nothing could be, what's the word I'm looking for, put forth into this search, as y'all still had a war to fight, or at least Firebrand still had a war to fight. But the soldiers would be buried, and y'all would search for a traitor. Very quickly came up that perhaps it wasn't a traitor himself, but somebody who took his guise as the body that matched the same description of the man you guys saw perform this magic was located. You guys determined that none of the officers within that mercenary company fit a description that Gloob had gotten from Balin way back of the man who recruited him for his job on the island. Y'all wrapped up your night, took yourselves a rest. Jakob's daughter returning and Julian having some unsettling dreams, as well as just some unfortunate truths that you all had to recognize. The next morning, going to meet with Firebrand and his coterie of lieutenants and captains and such, and being informed that the Sea Elves should be arriving within the next day at the latest, and that then is when all of your allied forces would gather together to make a plan for what would be done with the Sahuagin. That being said, I believe y'all had almost quite literally just exited Eleander's command tent, trying to determine what you would do with yourselves. Y'all were informed that you would be included in this meeting, so that a task befitting your guys' skill set could be tossed your way, or at least proposed. So you guys have somewhere around a day's free time, at least until somebody summons you that you know of. What would you like to do?
Alright.
I forgot that fucking cow in the field. I told it to stay there.
You did.
I highly doubt it's still there.
Well, if you want to go check, we can all go check. I mean,
Sure.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. Might as
hopefully
well.
it's all right.
I don't think the plan was for it to be all right.
Maybe the stuff is. I mean, the less death, the better.
Is Jakob vegetarian? Is this something I have not noticed?
I've worked with animals.
Spooky door.
Used to be a barn hen.
I like eating them a lot more than I like taking care of them.
That's fair.
Depends on the animal.
Oh no.
And, yeah, I can't say I liked any of those cows more enough than I wouldn't would give one up to not get stabbed quite as hard as I did last night.
I'm definitely not saying that. Just some of them are nice enough. Not like horses. They'll kick you and bite you, and some of them are real mean.
Hadn't dealt with too many horses. Anyway.
Is the cow still there?
It is gone.
Oh, no.
Are there any tracks nearby that are...
Roll a survival check for me, Jakob.
This is the quest for the cows.
We have a whole day to find something to do.
Yeah. I mean,
14.
if y'all truly have not, if there's truly nothing any of you would like to do, we can. I'm happy to just. I'm not just gonna be like, well, now what do you do? Do you eat lunch? What do you have for lunch? In what order do you eat your lunch? Do any of you have to use the restroom throughout the day? This is very important. Are you getting enough fiber? Like
14.
14. You do see some tracks that lead back into the camp. Funnily enough, as well as some boots. Some boot prints. It looks like somebody probably noticed unattended cows and collected them.
Well, it looks like something.
Because y'all weren't that far away.
Going
That's
back
good.
to camp.
The mystery of the cows. Presumably solved.
Solved. Nice.
Probably.
What could they really want with the cow taking it back into camp?
My bear investigating.
You need to
That's a
find-
good question.
Julian's just staring off into the distance.
Look over and Julian's like counting dice out of a dice bag for some reason you don't know why.
Where did you even get those from?
No
Why
idea.
has this one got so many sides?
I just felt like these might come in handy later.
Bludgeoning
I mean,
tools.
do y'all think that maybe we could help out a little bit in camp? Maybe train some of the, because I mean, not everybody here is hardened soldier. Might benefit from some of our guidance and combat. There's like a
Right.
training yard or something.
Yeah, and you still owe me another door. I mean, not a full-size door, the Cerulli amulet, but
I can definitely find if there's a blacksmith here. I can try to make one up for you.
that'd
Aren't
be
you
nice.
a blacksmith?
Right.
Oh, I mean,
Okay.
I have blacksmithing skills, but you need a forge to be able to fully craft something. I can work with metal that's already been formed, but if I'm trying to create something, I need a forge.
Gotcha.
Am I taking that as y'all are searching for a blacksmith?
Yeah, let's do it.
Roll an investigation check for me, whoever's looking. One person with advantage or two people individually. I don't give a shit.
I'll
I just want to
aim
hear dice
person.
rolling.
Or
I will give you advantage.
okay,
Terrible.
so natural one, but hey, yeah, halflings. The total of 13.
So, it's a pretty big camp. They all spend like the next hour just kind of wandering around like, hey, do you guys know where blacksmiths hang out? I'm just gonna keep referencing that one fucking thing apparently. It's funny. I can't help it. Can't help that it's amusing. But
Do you have a decanter of endless water?
do you have to get? It's just so easy when people roll poorly for looking for stuff. It's just such an easy shot. That being said, after about an hour, y'all just kind of wander around. Eventually, you make it to one of the camp blacksmiths. It's whatever blacksmith came with the main forces from Saltmarsh, not any of the mercenary smithies. But it's actually like a really buff gnome. He's like standing on on like a log, and just on there smacking like a regular sized anvil. He's like jacked, absolutely insane.
I'm gonna approach him, and in Gnomish, I'm gonna say, afternoon. I was looking
Yeah.
to use a forge to craft something for my friend here.
What for?
To craft an amulet for my friend. Just
Roll a
something
persuasion
little-
check for me.
Fuck. Two things.
Sure. Do I get to roll a d4?
Yeah, roll that.
Yeah! This is my favorite thing. Yeet! Oh, shit. Except when I lose my fucking dice. Then it's not my favorite thing. Oh, no! I don't even know where it went. That shit is... Oh, there it is. Don't worry, guys.
Wildwood snap.
Nope. I got it. Found it. It just blends in with the carpet really well, apparently. Alright, that's a 3. What is the 3 on the d4?
I think the 3 is a bad thing.
All of them except number 4 are bad. Oh, God. I fucking closed it. I closed it out.
If I remember
Why am I
correctly,
so
I think
stupid?
this one's the fear.
It very well maybe. This is pretty easy to find. I forgot to open it back up because all my shit got closed out at some point. And, it'd be like that. Jesus Christ.
I have it right here. A 3 is
There you
you
go.
are frightened of the creature closest to you other than yourself until the end of the next turn.
Yep.
Who's closest to me?
Guy you're talking to. So, the gnomish blacksmith. You get very scared of him all of a sudden. And so as you're sitting there, all of a sudden kind of paralyzed in fear as you look at this weirdly jacked gnome. He looks back at you as you answer that question, and he looks around the camp. More important things to be making than amulets. And just turns back and starts hammering on whatever he was working on again.
Yeah, okay.
After a few seconds, it does fade. You just were kind of like, y'all just saw as he was kind of bent over a little bit, asking this question, and he just stiffened for a handful of seconds.
I'm gonna kind of look down at Bard and just whisper, Aquamarine.
Yeah, I'll hit him with a good old lesser restoration.
It's gone before you cast the lesser restoration.
That's the play, though.
Yep. You feel extra okay.
Okay.
A little bit of you had a little bit of a Charlie horse from during the night. Just a lot better. Just kind of goes away. Feels like something the lesser restoration would do.
In Gnomish again, I'll say, well,
What?
sorry to bother you. If the opportunity comes about, contact me if you can.
Just looks at you and goes, sure. Goes back to what he was doing.
Well, Bart, seems our friend here is interested in letting me make you the amulet right now.
What'd you say to him?
I'd asked him if I could use his forge to craft you an amulet.
I mean,
Pretty much it.
you don't need the full forge to craft the amulet, do you?
I need something to be able to heat up metal and to the point where I can manipulate it better than just using a hammer.
All right. Well, how long you reckon that take?
Ian, how long will that take?
I don't know enough about blacksmithing to make an accurate real-life ruling on this. But, I mean, it's pretty little, so it'd be a small piece of metal that you just kind of... It'll take a couple heatings. I mean, an hour of, actual use of the forge itself, of needing the forge fire and stuff. After that, after you got it in the general shape, you're just kind of using your smaller tools and stuff. So, sure, an hour.
Probably be about an hour.
All right, not a problem. We'll take care of it at lunch then.
All right.
All right. Is there anything you guys like to do until lunch? Apparently.
If the party doesn't object, I'd like to find the training yard here, if they have one.
Sure.
Yeah, I imagine a military camp.
It does. Yeah.
The area around it is the training unit.
Well, they have an actual blocked off section where they've got they've kind of set up, some spokes to kind of have a little fenced off area where they have a few what are those things called? Stands that have wooden training weapons and stuff installed, and y'all come up and they probably have a few groups of any smaller groups of 5 and then larger groups of 10 to 15 that they're drilling in formations depending on size.
Well, whoever looks in charge, I'd walk up to. Afternoon.
Yes. So
I was wondering if we'd be able to help out training any individuals in combat or archery or anything like that?
It's like a tall, like half-orc woman just kind of looks you over. The rest of you having to kind of dip down to at least a couple of you. Like, is this the kind of fighting that you all are really used to? Kind of glances out of the field.
I think these folks are probably more in the formations and stuff like that.
I never meant any I'm missing the word. Militiamen. Maybe, like farmers who really never had a sword in their hand before, or fishermen that haven't.
These are kind of those guys. If you want to stick around and see if anybody's needing to come in for a little bit of a spar, be my guest. But most of the guys that really need it, they're not going to get enough out of a one-on-one in this short of a time.
Well, some training will help. I mean, better than
By all
nothing.
means. You're welcome to stick around.
Do you have a archery range, perhaps? These two gentlemen here are a hell of a shot. I've seen them take a man down from hundreds of feet away.
Skilled marksmen are always welcome. They have a few set up down on the, like, she kind of jerks her head over to the other end where there's a row of, like, it's like they have limited space. So it's kind of like three targets where they've got some guys drilling over there, kind of taking pot shots. Welcome to use the range if you'd like.
All right. That interests you too? I'm gonna see if anybody wants to spar. Give some pointers.
If it's actually going to be of any use, I don't know if it will.
Sure.
Well, we gotta kill some time.
All right.
We will walk over and see what he's working with as far as the people over there goes.
Sure.
Anybody shooting.
Yeah. Roll a perception check for me. Actually, roll an insight check for me.
Much
You're assessing their ability.
Not bad though. I rolled a natural 17
Nice.
plus 1.
So
18.
18. You're looking at, it's a mixture. They're kind of like rotating through as you kind of stand there and watch for a few minutes, doing like sets of like 5 shots. They've got like what looks like some formally dressed like one of the actual soldiers is sitting there kind of yelling at them, but in a way that's supposed to be instructive. Kind of working on their form and stuff. And I mean, it kind of varies. You can see some guys that are actually a lot better, and it kind of, you'd guess that they might be hunters or something by trade, or some people that have been in the militia like for a larger amount of times. They've done this a little more. But then some are just like very clearly like people who've been like, hey, we need people to fight or we're all gonna fucking die. And they're like never touched a weapon, like a weapon in like actual need before. But so it's kind of a mixed bag. Probably more on the, by your standards, on the lower end, like these guys kind of suck. But they probably hit something.
Blue will go over to that sucky end of the spectrum and probably not say anything to anybody, but what he will do. Jonesy knows nothing about archery.
Right.
So
Me neither.
Not
much anyway.
What Glue will do is just like pull out his rapier and
Oh God.
go stand behind one, and when they when they're just sort of holding the arrow back and it's not, I'll just take the rapier and like slap their elbow up and tell them to lock it into place or something like that. Slap their knees straight if they're slouching or something like that. I don't know.
Sure.
That sort of stuff.
Let's see.
No introduction, no nothing. Just
Nope. Yep.
tuck that belly in.
Yep. Jesus
Elbow
Christ.
up.
I'm gonna be like, you're doing a good job, Glue. I'm gonna go take care of a couple of things, and I will cast guidance on him before
As he's
letting
starting to do
these
that.
fellas take to
Okay.
marshaling the troops up.
So, all right. So here's what I want to
I
do.
have no idea what I'm doing.
So for anybody, so I'm gathering at least Jakob and Gloob are trying to help some folks out. Julian, are you trying to do anything?
Julian is being kind of distant and probably going to approach Bart here in just a minute.
Okay. So Jakob and Gloob, here's how I want to do this. I want y'all to roll so it's going to be slightly different. I want proficiency plus strength plus your charisma mod from Jakob, and then Gloob, I want your proficiency plus dex plus charisma mod. So you're trying to use your skill plus your ability to teach. And
Plus
so
a D4.
So how? Yeah, for one of you. So how good you are at teaching, plus how good you are at the skill skill itself that you're trying to teach.
D4 helps out a lot.
Oh
I
no!
rolled a 4.
Oh no!
I rolled a 4 on the D4. I rolled a 7
Oh,
on the D2.
okay. That's
11.
not much better.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. There you go. Nice.
Nice.
Very
Do
nice.
I also get a D4?
Negatory
Nope,
Ghost Rider.
unfortunately not.
14.
14. Okay. Gloob. Do shockingly well. At first you freak them out a bit because they're just kind of like the first guy you do that to is like shot goes like way wide. You hear like a Wilhelm scream off in the distance in the tents. Oh! It was like
He goes to look back at me. I slap him with the rapier to tell him to keep looking forward.
So you start doing that, and for a second, like the dude who's instructing kind of like starts to walk over, and then as you like before he can make it to you, as you're like fussing at this dude, and he goes to shoot, stops and just kind of it's like a dude who's like missing an eye. It's like one of those like gnarled like his eyeball was missing. There's a giant like cleft where it used to be. Got some kind of short gray beard going on. He looks at you for a second, kind of as you're basically giving this dude just a shit of a hard time as he goes, and he's and goes back to the other end. And notable improvement from your time spent there. Kind of after a little bit, the weirdness of you being a frog kind of wears off for these guys. Jakob with 14, not quite as good. You get a few guys that are over there, and they just kind of. They toss a few guys your way that are just like struggling, and it's like, okay, you know what? If you're not gonna cooperate, if you're not gonna cooperate in the formation, go. He seems happy to smack somebody around. Go train with him for a little bit. That's basically what happens. They learn a little bit, not quite as well. Mostly just kind of beat the crap out of them because it's pretty one-sided. So after a little bit, you start being used as a disciplinary measure. Anybody who's just kind of like not behaving, it's like, you know what? Why do this myself when I can have this guy who is volunteering to smack the shit out of my recruits? Perfect. And that's kind of how it goes. Like, at the very least, you feel like they maybe learned how to take the hits pretty good.
Somebody did it to me while I was in the militia, so.
Great success.
I'm also imagining them being out there in like regular training clothes, and he's just out there in full plate getting hit by a wooden sword. Like, yeah, this is doing nothing to me.
Bink, whack! You just like take their legs out from under them, like into the mud.
Jakob's just being real nice to him. All right, now block this one, okay?
You knock like at least one guy just unconscious, wham, just out like a light. But
Just kind of pat him on the face.
you are helpful. Just and maybe not and maybe not in the exact way you originally intended, but man, does it work.
He's
Great
weeding
success.
out the weak.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah, I got one guy in a cast, and I'm just like, I'll come back tomorrow.
He's just shivering in fear, like, please, no more.
We would appreciate it if you would
If
not
you just
do that.
don't. The instructors seem perfectly happy. They're like, not bad. Not bad. All right. So while y'all are doing that, Julian, you said you wanted to talk to Bart?
Yeah, like kind of as Bart went to leave, Julian would have walked with him, and after a few steps, Bart, I feel uneasy about all of this.
Yeah. You should. Not a good situation to be in at all.
What is our next move going to be?
I honestly can't rightly say. I imagine we're going to have to be going to war. We'll probably have some sort of objective to try and make things easier for the rest of these folks and save as much lives as possible, but I don't know what we can do.
Got the war. These new cultist dickheads. The pirates. Whatever conspiracy shenanigans going on in the city.
Well,
That's a lot to juggle.
yeah, one thing at a time. I mean, we're in a war camp for people that might be going off the war. I think that's the one we should probably focus on the most. Just take it one step at a time. Maybe after Saltmarsh gets a little bit settled, and hopefully this war can be taken care of quicker or quickly. Maybe after we help Saltmarsh lick its wounds and we can have a time of peace, and maybe somebody can help us out with the pirate menace, and we can see to basically everyone we've managed to piss off by doing the right thing.
It's hard seeing my people here. I'm not sure how to react.
Never really much thought about it that way. I mean, they're all our people, right?
Yeah, they're hard fishermen. It's different for us. These people aren't soldiers. They've hired some, but not the locals. Not really.
Sure. I understand they're not as capable. I'm not a soldier, and you're not a soldier either. I mean, you used to be one of these fishermen, if I understand correctly.
Whole lot's been between me and them, though.
Oh yeah.
They haven't had that tempering.
Yeah, that's the way to put it. It's a good way to put it.
And it didn't do me any favors in the long run either.
Yeah. And before this is over, I know that it's not going to do many of these folks any favors. The ones that do come back.
I want to find a way to keep them from having to be put through this crucible, but I can't think of anything. It's tearing me apart. I feel like I should be doing something, doing more. And we're here, and we don't have a direction.
And he just kind of like stops talking for a minute. Not hyperventilating necessarily, but just at a loss for his stream of thought.
Yeah, I mean, I get you. There's idle time. Calm before a storm, maybe. Not a whole lot we can do right now. But you feel like you should be doing something. That if there was X, Y, or Z in front of you, that you could be on task, helping out, making sure that every minute you toiled away doing this or that would be better chances for somebody else to walk away. I get it. I understand. But I don't rightly see what we can do. I want to go help some people out in the infirmary. Maybe try to get some people back on their feet. Get back in that training yard for Jakob and Gloob to help him out a little bit. That's really all I know to do right now.
I'm no medicine man, but I'd like to join you.
Sure. I mean, you don't need magic or medicine to help heal somebody. Just tell them some stories. Tell all these men some stories. You're pretty good at it. Ease or mine, even if
Sure.
yours ain't.
If you think so.
It's better than sitting on your hands, that's for sure.
Julian will just nod and gesture for Bart to lead the way.
I will. Yeah,
So you're going off to look for basically an infirmary.
right. We were there before we set off at one point before.
Y'all not in this camp. Y'all were in the infirmary back at Saltmarsh. Y'all were at basically what was a field hospital for people that were in much worse shape.
Right. I thought we stopped by here before we went off to the stronghold.
It's possible that I have forgotten, but
Okay,
regardless,
I mean, in
It's-
either case, I imagine they'd have like a sick tent or something like
yeah,
that.
they
for the
do.
young people.
Yeah, they do. And it's if I described this before, my apologies, but not many of the people that are still here in the camp are that bad off. They're mostly what would be described as walking wounded, like people that they got hurt, but they mostly it can be solved with a bandage, like a splint. They're not having to be kept long term because due to location, anybody that's in relatively rough shape or is going to require further care is being sent back to Saltmarsh because it's not that far away and it's also not in the middle of a marsh. The bugs and the wet and everything, y'all would know fairly logically that as denizens of the area as well as those a little more inclined towards medicinal purposes, that's not good for open wounds and injuries, especially not on humans and a lot of humanoids that are not is not their native environment. So there are some maybe that are like they've been injured very recently and so they haven't had time to be shipped off to Saltmarsh yet, but mostly it's minor air quotes injuries like broken fingers, broken toes, upper injuries, that kind of thing, things that they don't have as much of a chance of getting grossly infected and gangrenous and stuff. So
Yeah, I'll probably take a peek in the tent unless it's like heavily guarded or something.
it's up to there are guards kind of everywhere, but
Right.
nobody's gonna stop you from sticking your head in the medical tent.
Hey, Julian, hold on a second. You can make up a story on the spot, right?
For sure. I mean,
So-
they're all true, but yes.
Right. Well, you can fill in the blanks in the narrative, as it were.
Of course.
You know anything about, I don't know, maybe magic berries and mermaids? Are mermaids good? Mermaids are good or bad? I don't know.
Depends on
Magical,
who's telling the story.
positive sorceresses from deep in the ocean to give you strength in battle or something. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead and cast Goodberry, and just trying to break off the twigs a little bit so that there's a little bit extra, like on the like a couple leaves, with them and stuff, so that they look more pilfered than just like a processed berries, and give them to Julian. Like, okay, well, I might not have given these to you. Maybe someone with a lot more power than me maybe gave these berries to you for some wayward warriors that need protection and strength in battle. And this will definitely put some pep in their step, as me and you well know. But give them a little bit of extra confidence.
With a particularly large and toothy grin, he will proceed to do so.
Okay. I just would like to point out some of your allies in this particular conflict are merfolk. On the mermaid contemplation front. Just throw that out there real fast. That being said, so is that all y'all are trying to do? Just kind of like pass out good berries to folks about?
And
Fill their minds with bullshit.
as
Sure.
as part of the
Doesn't
process,
bother me none.
telling, pretty obviously tall tales about powerful ocean entities that gifted him. You can trust me. I'm from the ocean. You can see my face and gills. A powerful ocean entity that gifted him these to give to the soldiers.
Sure. Roll a performance check for me, Julian.
Fuck yeah. I have no bonuses to that. I don't.
You have your charisma, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
will give him a nice guidance before he goes through.
And
the
I mean,
door.
y'all are
You
both
got
doing this, so
You got
I would say you're doing
Oh,
this
no,
with
I'm not.
aid.
I'm
You're
not
not helping
helping
him? Oh,
No, I'm not
never mind. You
I-
do not have
letting-
advantage.
I'm letting him have this catharsis and
Sure.
letting him like
Sure.
do his thing.
Okay, yeah. No advantage, but you get a D4.
That will be
Don't botch it.
a 23.
That's
Fuck
not.
yes.
That's
dude,
not
hell
botched.
yeah.
That's not
That
botched.
is not a botch.
Very nice. Yeah. So you spend the next like considerable time. Do you cast Goodberry more than once or just the one?
Is there a lot of people in there?
I mean, it's like there's plenty of people that are hurt. Seriously, is a little much less. But-
How many people are currently like in there? Would you say?
Like between like 15 and 20 people all told
Sure.
that are being
I'll cast-
treated and stuff at this time.
I'll give him 2 casts of it.
Okay.
Then I'll make sure he has plenty.
It's a fairly
And
sizable camp.
If if a couple of guys have some that they need to give to their friends, whatever.
Sure. So with a 23 on your performance check, they're kind of weirded out at first because of like, you're not a medic, but pretty soon, you're spinning your yarn of the tale of how you came by these mystical berries, and at first it's just them being like, oh well, this is better than just being bored as fucking shit while we wait here to be discharged.
Absolutely embellishing with
yeah.
prestidigitation for like shadowy water effects.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I mean, with that high of a roll, as you go on, they go from just being like mildly entertained to just becoming enraptured as you kind of you're striding about the tent, kind of broad flaring motions and stuff, like making use of the fact that you have fangs and like a little bit of web between some of your hands and stuff to really kind of sell it. And by the time you leave, and you have people like, so you gave them the berry and they're just staring at it, not in suspicion, but almost like, do I want to eat this right now, or should I like save it for when like I really need it? Like, what if I like really need it later? What if it gets way worse later and I have already eaten this fucking magical goddamn berry?
Sooner
Stuff
rather
like that.
than later, lad. Before the magic of the ocean fades.
And like before, just in the mouth, down the gullet.
That's one of the ones that still had like a leaf attached. Julian's like, ew.
He just
Get all of the magic.
I can feel it. It's working. Scratchy.
Yeah, I see
A
that.
little scratchy on the throat. But great success. So not just healing some wounds, but also lifting spirits that may have been a little on the downward turn as well.
If there are any berries left over after all of the patients have been attended to, Julian will give them to the actual working medics. Like,
These are for you. You're working hard. Keep it up.
Oh, thanks. Kept him from bitching. I appreciate it. Just kind of pockets the berries. Like, it's a good story too. That was real nice.
and out I go afterwards. I have no idea how long that took. Probably quite a bit.
Just a little bit. Like with like how much you were really trying to sell it, you were probably in there for like between like half hour, 45 minutes of just really kind of doing it up.
I imagine sometime during that point, Jakob carrying in a couple of them.
I just get, yeah, but dude, you're like princess carrying him. He's just unconscious. He's splayed out.
And the 24 sharks dancing in a circle in the wind. Oh, hello, Yaku.
Oh, Julian. Drops in bed.
How hard did you teach him? He must have said something real smart to you, Jakob, for you to do that.
Oh, well, I told him to keep his shield up, and, he dropped it, and then kind of hit him in the head.
Bloop holds up 2 pieces of shield. Yep, he dropped it all right.
Awesome. Well, after your all individual activities for the later morning, early afternoon.
I wanted first. What roll would I make to see what I might or might not know about gnomish cuisine?
Good question.
I have another question as well.
Roll like just like a knowledge history.
Sure.
Before he rolls that, I do speak Gnomish,
Sure.
so I might have some knowledge of the culture.
Roll knowledge history with advantage.
Oh, this was happening. I left Julian there, and I was going to go do stuff. So
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll it while
so
they're all doing their
history.
shit.
16.
You got like a general idea. It's not like an area of expertise, but you know some gnomish cuisine. Like you cooked some stuff for like some like gnomish guards or like gnomish merchants that came through every now and then, and they knew you were a good cook, and so they would just like tell you what to prepare, and you'd make it up as per their instructions.
Word. I would like to make a very nice gnomish meal for lunch,
Sure.
and then when the time is right, give a nice hearty large plate to our gnomish blacksmith.
Sure. So
Should I roll that
yeah,
check?
roll that check, dude.
Let's see. That is 17 plus 8 plus 2, so 27.
27. As much as it's not your specialty, like you're not out here like doing anything crazy, I'm not sure what gnomish cuisine would be, but it's
I imagine a lot
pretty
of like
solidly
tubers or like carrots and potatoes and
a lot of vegetables,
earthy type kind of things.
some mashed potatoes,
Yeah, there you go.
taters,
Potatoes.
like lentil soup. I don't know,
There you go.
stuff like that. Yeah, sure, why not? That makes sense to me. Some rock soup. You got rock gnomes, you know. All right. So you just bring it over to him like around lunchtime.
Yep.
So you see him, he's over there. He's kind of wiping some soot and stuff off himself as he goes. Kind of looks like he's kind of cooling down, maybe getting ready to go get himself some lunch. You come up, just proffer this plate to him.
Yeah.
He's actually a
lunchtime, right?
little shorter than you, off of his stump. Looks up. What's this for?
About lunchtime?
Uh-huh.
It takes about an hour or so, right?
If I have time.
Well, I don't know. This seems like a pretty good reason to make time. I'm just going to set the plate that I have down somewhere in the room that has surface for it.
It's more like an open, like, kind of tent thing. What are those called? Like open... I was about to say kiosk. That ain't it. But whatever.
Right.
You just set it down and, like, just, like, wedge it in between some, like, spearheads and, like, a sword and stuff that is, like, not quite finished. Kind of... You just leave it there.
Yeah.
You just walk off. Kinda...
Is Jakob going to be showing up at any time? I told him to come, that we'd take care of it at lunch.
Jakob.
So I assume he'd show up.
Assuming, yeah, as long as the training doesn't go long and I don't notice, then yeah.
Okay. So you come walking up, and as you do, Bart's kind of standing back watching as this dude just kind of ignores it for a second, and then just kind of goes over to it, picks up like the bowl of soup, and just kind of starts eating. He just kind of pulls his stump over there to use as a chair.
So, while you're on your lunch break, it wouldn't be too much of a bother if my good friend made an amulet in your blacksmith, keep them forged warm for you, as it were.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, that's a 6 and a 20. 25 total.
Looks over at you, looks at Jakob, just kind of looks at the food. Yeah, all right. And proceeds to ignore you. Turns back around, just kind of Use some ale. Hops up. Goes walking off.
All right, forge is yours, friend.
All right. Dice gods.
Yeah. You know what you're rolling, Jakob.
Yep.
Roll that smithing check.
Okay. Is that just plus proficiency?
It's proficiency plus strength.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
Oh, wow.
actually, there's a little more precision work than with your
Uh-oh.
armor. So I'm gonna say proficiency plus dex.
Yuck. It went from a 24 to a 21.
Oh! Easily enough. You very quickly get the little like muscle work that there is out of the way with a little bit of some spare metals and stuff. You just kind of scrounge about for some bits and bobs from around the forge and from whatever you've been carrying around in your pack. And
Anything I take, I'm gonna leave a silver.
mark off like 4 silver. Took some random scrap metal. It's not like a ton. It's not like you're making a very big piece. It's a little ish medallion kind of deal. So somewhere in that realm. But easily within this day. Actually, it creeps a little over the lunch break. But after he finishes eating, Gnome's just sitting there on his stump with his legs kind of like almost not quite. Can't quite make it to the ground. They're just kind of stuck out. He's like, kind of watches you as you go after that, kind of sipping on a mug. But you were able to make a pretty solid piece. Like, Bart, that's probably the best work you've seen Jakob do with his blacksmith. Like the precision work, like the delicate stuff of making sure the knob stands out from the door and everything. Like, it looks pretty good.
It's a mighty fine work, Jakob.
Thank you. Definitely feels a lot better than times I worked on your armor. I didn't do the best job those times.
No, armor, that's just it's going to get hit and bent anyway. That's not really necessary. Well, this is a really, really fine amulet that you got here.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to trade you.
Then trade me.
Yeah, I'm going to trade you. So I'll take that amulet for him and take the one out from around my neck. And it is a kind of older, sort of tarnished, kind of not quite silver looking metal. It's a little bit cheaper. Yeah, it's just a really old one. It is very similar make to the one that Jakob just made, just of a creaking door, and it looks like there's a broom linked up in the crook of it, and like some kind of fall type kind of motif to it. There's like a pumpkin off to the side next to the door on the opposite side. And all right, this one's for you.
Oh, thank you, Bart.
And I'll just swap it back onto the chain and hand it off to him.
I will.
You did a good job.
I appreciate it. I appreciate what you did with the smith.
Yeah, I mean, you were helping me. You were doing something for me, so.
You gave me the opportunity, and I appreciate that.
Take care of that one. It's been with me for a long time.
Oh, I will. As I'm chaining it onto the necklace that my daughter's. Keep it very safe.
All right. Well, I guess now that we got our jewelry in order, we can we can go. Hell, I don't know. I would say get drunk, but that's definitely not going to be an option. Kidding, of course.
Yeah. You definitely could, but
no, I'm
not a good idea for me.
I'm just kidding. All right. Well, shit. I mean, it'd be nice to liven up some spirits. I'm not super good with music or anything like that. I mean, we might be able to bring some spirits up somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Julian was spinning some yarns earlier. That was pretty good.
He was always
Well, I
good
think
at
it
that.
went pretty good.
Well, when I walked in, they seemed pretty interested in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
get her.
might have gone a little bit too hard in the training.
All right. Well, you know, I guess as long as they learn and they're all right. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure at very least one of them knows that using a weak shield against a greatsword probably isn't gonna. It's not gonna take the full brunt.
Yeah, that sounds like a rough lesson to learn on the battlefield.
And now he
So-
knows.
Hey, I mean, might have saved his life. Them bigger Sahuagin had some pretty mean-looking weaponry, and yeah, could have saved his life. Anyway, I guess let's find everyone else, and I got more food back on the boat, so I imagine either they'll be there and we can have some lunch, or some soldiers have snuck aboard and I got it.
Well, I'll tell you, if they could smell what you gave that Smith, it was smelling pretty good.
All right.
Alright. So y'all regroup, I presume? Or is there
Sure.
any reason any of you would like to not regroup? Alright.
No reason
Okay.
to not regroup.
So y'all
Unless you guys are wanting to go back and just continue training through the day, and that's fine too.
beat the shit out of more
Beat
fucking
the shit out
people.
of them.
I would probably eat, and then if we do nothing after lunch, then I would go and try to train some more people. But
But y'all reconvene back at the boat and eat up some grub, some like baked Brussels sprouts and asparagus and all. We're just banking on gnomes eat a lot of vegetables. There's a lot of vegetables in there. Some yeah,
All right.
all kinds of vegetables. I'm blanking on them. I don't know. Squash, zucchini, etc. But if all y'all would like to do is kind of keep training people for the rest of the day, by all means you can continue doing so. Jakob quickly becomes known as the Punisher.
oh no.
Does Jakob leave most of his stuff on the boat?
I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't take like my full kit. I would probably just maybe not even wear my armor. I'd probably just take whatever training sword that they have there.
Perfect time for an ambush.
I will go to Jakob's things, and I will rifle through all of his belongings until I find that book. And I will take it and quill, and I will start adding notes for Jakob to do and do not do for the rest of the afternoon.
Don't you just don't do basically for the whole thing? You're just like nope.
It's just probably
nope,
like a
not
little
that.
starting from this paragraph on to here on to follow the page 42. Don't try any of this. You will get it just little notes off into the margins.
In the margins, sure.
Yeah.
Easily enough done. You have a whole afternoon just to do what you will. It's not like you have to worry about him rolling up while you're doing it. So you're just kind of briefly skimming the contents and going, yeah, not any of that. Nope. No, sir. No, sir. We're not doing that. Nope. Mm-mm. So that's what you're doing the rest of your afternoon. Jakob, you are beating the shit out of trainees. Gliv and Julian.
After the good berry shenanigans in the sick tent, what is being done with the fallen from the previous night?
It would appear that they figured them out. Those that were of Saltmarsh, I'll say, like, you could pretty easily find out that they've been taken back to town to be buried, or whatever
So
it
it's
is.
already done.
The loved ones. It's been an entire night and a solid chunk of the day. They're like, And while there were quite a few, not more than could be fit on a cart. And there actually weren't that many that were from Saltmarsh. If you recall, the section of the camp was mostly the mercenaries. It was one of the mercenary companies section of camp that had all kind of grouped up and come out that way.
Okay,
So the
it's
vast
only a few
majority
from
were
Salt
there,
Marsh.
guys. Yeah, and it looks like they're not necessarily from around here. With a little asking around, it looks like some of them like had left word of it was in pretty standard practice for them to say what they wanted done with their remains. Some of them appear to have been kept around and letters sent off. Some of them appear to have been burned, that kind of thing. Some appear to already have been put in the ground, just buried in the area where they fell, that kind of thing, depending upon their wishes and what is realistic according to, their brass.
Gotcha. Well, if there is nothing more to do as far as assisting with the fallen, Julian will probably just go back to the boat and begin attending to his gear to get it ready for mobilization, sharpening all his arrowheads, cleaning up all his fletching, so on and so forth.
Easily done. Glib, anything else you would like to do for the rest of the afternoon?
Lou is gonna sneak off into the marshes.
Okay, roll a stealth check for me. I'm assuming you are actually trying to sneak away without anybody noticing.
For the most part.
Okay.
I think it's plus 11. 25.
Very nice. All right, so more or less like not really like hiding necessarily per se from the entire camp, but mostly just kind of moving in such a way that is to not draw attention. You are able to kind of sneak off. Any particular direction you're going into the marsh, or just into the marsh in general?
Just a little bit deeper into the marsh, and I'm gonna try to find either. I'm gonna look around for just a peaceful spot, as hard as that is to find in the marsh.
Okay, just roll a quick survival check for me, or perception. Honestly, whichever. You're not having to like, you're just kind of looking about. So whichever you prefer.
They are the same. Okay. +4, not great. 7 + 4 for 11.
11. You wander around for a bit, maybe going a little deeper into the marshes than you would otherwise prefer. But you find are you looking like for a water hole kind of deal where you could like soak, or just general peaceful?
General peaceful, preferably with some sort of like flora.
Okay. So it takes a little bit, but with a little bit of wandering around and kind of casting about, you kind of find the sweet spot where it's close enough to the camp that most like wildlife that would otherwise be dangerous is kind of staying away from it, but far away enough from the camp that you don't really have like guards walking past you all the time, and a lot of the hubbub is farther away. But you are able to find something of that nature with some of the kind of, I was about to say swamp, marsh flowers, and like some smaller bushes that aren't too like twiggy. It's looking a little more lush, that kind of area.
Awesome. Glue will gather up a couple of those things, flowers and what have you, and start sort of absent-mindedly adding them to his braid of fuck-em-ups that he had going on from the journey, and begin reading his book again. And after it's over, I assume probably a couple of hours to do that. And he'll have made a circlet out of them, and look at it and just hang it on a branch, and then put the book away and full-on sprint all the way back to, like he is racing someone, all the way back to camp.
Okay. Easily done. So, a couple hours later, Bart and Julian, unless you're going, I'm assuming you're going back to the boat? Or is there a particular camp where you're going?
Julian was going to be at the boat, yeah.
Yeah, Julian and Bart are at the boat. I was asking where Gloob is going on his return. Because Jakob is... Yeah.
Yeah, when I get back, I'll go back. That'll be around dusk or so when I get back.
Okay, so that late in the afternoon, all the rest of you, Jakob, you've returned like a little bit ago. Bart, you have finished making your notes, your advice in the book, and I assume just kind of returning it to where it was. Julian, you're still meticulously going over your equipment, and Gloob, you fucking just comes hauling ass back up to the boat.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh.
Julian's
Okay.
just like frozen with like some fletching glue in one hand and side eyeing like.
Seems to be seems to be a good spirits. Yeah, just went out on a run.
Alright. Okay. Sure.
I fought like five of the recruits at once, Glue.
How many of them had? How many do we need to take more berries?
No, some will be a little bit sore tomorrow than usual, but they're
Yeah,
really bad at keeping their feet underneath them.
From what I saw, you were kicking the shit out of them. Maybe it'll help. You know, if it helps now, maybe it'll save their life later on.
Good footwork is important. Swordplay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The Bart seems like he starts to say something, but just kind of like keeps it to himself and smiles like, that's good that you did that.
Around this time, soldier in Saltmarsh regalia, air quotes, big air quotes on regalia. Mostly it's crown soldier colors.
The salt mark drip is just salt water.
Well, I say Saltmarsh colors, and it's more in the fact that these are actual like crown soldiers. They just their current association is mostly with Saltmarsh at this point in time. So and comes jogging up. Captain Firebrand wanted me to inform you that the rest of the Manon have arrived, and they're going to be meeting with Queen Othakent and the rest of the commanding officers of each force here shortly.
All right, that's us. We're in there.
That would be my presumption. Yes, he did not specify.
All right.
Part of the commanding officers.
Yeah, it's terrifying, honestly. Absolutely, son. We'll be right there. Or do you need to escort us? Or
y'all know where you're going?
Yeah, we know where to go.
I'm good. Gonna not get in the middle of all that. I know they're our allies, but he's got a lot of teeth.
Julian just smiles at him.
Sometimes
Like that, but longer.
I like
Don't
how you
matter
said
which-
longer this way, but not longer this way.
Yeah. Well, I mean they're about the same. He got little sharky teeth. His teeth actually might be a little longer. All things considered.
does Julian's teeth like fall out regularly like a shark's? Do you have like multiple rows?
Do you molt?
Yeah, DM. Do Julian's teeth fall out regularly?
High low.
Oh no.
High, I guess.
What's your preference?
If your own teeth fall out regularly and you make like a shark tooth necklace out of it, is that
Kinda
like
creepy.
gross like keeping your own fingernail clippings?
I think so.
Oh god.
I would say yes. Just because you
Gonna
made
go
that comparison. Yes. If you hadn't said it like that, maybe more debatable, but nope, too late.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say yes, but now I'm tempted to be like, oh god, no, Jesus.
What is it, Julian?
TBD.
No, nah, decide. The dice has been rolled.
I'm
What's
a
your
roll for
preference?
you.
What's your
Yeah,
preference, Julian?
They cycle.
No, they do not.
Okay.
I rolled a 5. So it was whatever your preference wasn't. So no, they don't fall out all the time.
Yeah, saved by the demon.
I was waiting. You were like, oh man, now I kind of
Well,
want to say
'cause
no, and
I
I was
had-
like,
I
okay.
had prepared myself to say yes
Fool.
until he said that, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna maintain some shred of dignity and say what I was gonna say before Kent said something.
Fair enough. That's a good thing. All things
Alright.
so no, his teeth do not fall out regularly.
Nice.
I am going to put on my armor, which I know takes 10 minutes.
Okay. So he did
Yeah,
say they were gathering that way. He didn't say they were there right that minute.
We can get dressed up. All that jazz.
Sure. So y'all spend like
Gotta
10,
get
15
drippy,
minutes
queen.
kind of getting on your nice clothes. Gloob actually has nice clothes. The rest of you, not so much.
Who will request Bart clean them up?
Oh yeah, I'll get everyone pressed to digitize.
Gloob is by and large the most well dressed out of all of you. Strictly from like a color and like quality of fabric standpoint. Yeah. Swagged out of his mind, as it were.
Cost gold to look this good.
Julian looks down at his
Oh
like
my god.
travel stained like paupers linens and burlap and is just like,
You do be looking kind of homeless.
You look sharp as hell, Glue. I like it.
I'm gonna get y'all some clothes too. We're gonna be out here doing this, being commanding officers and such.
I prefer the plate. Makes
I'm
me
not
look,
exactly an officer type.
Yeah, more you know, in the mud command, I guess.
Why did you just press to digitate off this thing?
Well, that was a rug. Now it is a mound.
So
All right.
Luke has not changed out of these clothes. They've
Yep.
gotten muddy.
Nasty bitch.
Have you been taking them off before soaking?
Yes.
Okay.
I was about to say,
yeah, I mean like
the mildew. Oh god.
Prestidigitation with a hammer and chisel, if not.
I mean, like
God.
Julian's not like, you know, actively soaked in just crap, but like, cause he also has
Ew.
prestidigitation. But that's some old shit he's wearing.
It's a lot of holes. Does anybody
Yes.
have mending? Maybe not holes if
got
you have
got you.
mended things. So any
I
tears
find it hard to
and
believe that mending would allow things to be as good as new.
oh, not as I mean, well, it depends. If you've been mending it very regularly, like if y'all been mending Gloob's like fit since he's gotten it before it gets too bad, still looking pretty spiffy. Your shit was already fucked up. There's no coming back from that.
Julian's been wearing this
Jesus.
since he broke out.
Yeah,
So-
nah, that shit's fucked. That was years. Like,
Can you
You
also
don't Go ahead.
can you also do that magic thing to my armor? Make it look a bit
Oh
shiny?
yeah, I assumed I was doing it to everyone. Yeah. I'm not gonna let my boys going out looking like a bunch of ragamuffins.
what's the handheld like waxing machine? Nice, but the
You don't
magic
have to be-
equivalent.
It makes the
Commanding
exact
officer
same
type.
noise, but it's not a waxing machine. He's just like holding up a bunch of like spinning like glyphs and runes. Just
Yeah, like I said, magical handheld waxing things. Like, you're buffing his armor. Great success.
They turn to the side when they get to like Jakob's hair to comb through it, you know, like got runes going vertical ways.
Jesus. All right. Is there any other preparations you guys would like to do
Yeah,
before you go that
before we
way?
go too far and say that prestidigitation, you can start giving people perms and all sorts of other
Yeah,
wacky
yeah,
stuff.
we're gonna reel it back in.
All right,
All right. So unless there's
Yeah,
anything else
looking-
people would like to do.
looking nice, I guess.
All right. So you guys make your way to the lizard folk home base, current home base dose, home base 2, backup home base, like backup _ home base, depending on your name and convention preferences. You guys arrive. There's some guards outside. You see, at this time, it's a mixture. there are some lizard folk as well as a couple of soldiers from the Saltmarsh contingent of the military force here at this time. But they just kind of call one of the other guards over to escort you. Just kind of like, yeah, they're all gathering in there.
All right.
So one of the lizard folk comes, takes you guys on a, I was about to say familiar, starting to get familiar. Y'all been down this to and out of this way like 2 times, 3 times actually, 3 whole times. This is number 4. But along the pathway to the kind of royal audience chamber, so they take you in, knock on the door opens up, and y'all are kind of shuffled in, and very similar to how y'all have seen before, where you have kind of Othokent's throne thing going on farther back in the room, except that's not where they are all gathered currently, kind of off to the side of the chamber. You can see, like, y'all may not have noticed before, I can't recall if I described it or not, but there's a small entryway off to the side, entering into a pool, like a deeper pool of water, as off on that side, and that is where you see everybody gathered. You can see a lowish hanging, like it kind of goes down. There's a comes up, so you see a couple of Lokatha, a couple of merfolk as well that are off within the water itself. Then you have a table appears to have been brought right next to the pool, and you recognize Othokent, Sariv, and Krushneel actually all there for the lizard folk, as well as some other aides and lower ranking officials that are stood a little back there. You see Firebrand, as well as the 2 captains of the mercenaries and his officers within his 2 officers, one from within the militia and one within his military contingent that is present with him, as well as Manistrad Copperlocks is there once more for the Saltmarsh section of the forces. And then you see Oceanus, as well as a couple of other sea elves, or a handful of other sea elves, but some of them are standing back, similar to the other forces. As you guys approach, the first of the sea elves that you notice that is not Oceanus looks similar to Oceanus, but maybe a little bit taller, much broader of shoulders, looks like a much more heavily built elf. His long kind of like almost platinum blonde hair is pulled back and trails down his back to kind of about between his shoulder blades, but it's braided on the sides and then comes into the braid of the hair that goes back. It all comes braided down and together. That keeps it together, the kind of this whole section in the middle, not braided but going down into the braid itself. Wearing armor kind of similar to Oceanus's, but a little more heavy duty. You note a lot of those same kind of fish scale patterns in some leather armor with those kind of pearlescent, kind of bluish metal that goes down in between plates of a similar color, but much more solid, seeming that kind of go down over his chest, and a couple of interlocking plates going down his front, as well as pauldrons made of the same material, and a couple of these plates going over his forearm before ending in just some plain like boiled leather kind of gauntlets. Legs much the same, almost entirely in leather, except for a almost long skirt that goes down to right about his knees, that is split straight down the middle from the waist and going around, made of more of those kind of scaled metal and leather, kind of keeping his legs a lot more free flowing, but much more heavily armored than Oceanus's. And you kind of notice that while there are his differences, a lot of kind of like the jawline and general bone structure of his face definitely marks him as a relation to Oceanus. The other sea elf that is up there at the table itself is a female sea elf with darker hair, but much the same complexion of skin. Her hair kind of drawn back in braids, kind of similar to, but then kind of coming back up into a knot at the back of her head, as the man that you see standing beside her, of that same kind of pale complexion, much more slight, but wearing armor more similar to Oceanus's, almost entirely of leather, with those little bits of metal scales going out throughout it, as well as a large, looks kind of like a some kind of holster for a book or something, perhaps on one hip, but also shares some similarities to Oceanus. Like she has a more slender nose as does Oceanus, so kind of those seem to be a family resemblance between the three of them. As you guys approach, Elliot returns. Ah, good, well timed that you are here. And I'm sorry, I left out one more of the Saltmarsh contingent. Is very clearly a ranger, one of the rangers. And you guys don't recognize this one, but just from his dress, similar to the folks that y'all had seen over in Burl. Almost forgot about them, but standing off with that same group of people. Good. And this may proceed. Otho Kent. He kind of dips his head. Kind of tilts his head to one side. Yes. We are all gathered here in the best hopes with what is probably going to be the best, largest majority of forces we will gather at once, to prepare an offensive against the Sahuagin and to destroy them. Some mutterings from the merfolk and Lokatha representatives, like, if what you reported is true, though, we are still outnumbered, even with the arrival of the Manan. Yes, that is what I've heard as well, from the merfolk, from the Lokatha and the merfolk, respectively. This is true. The platinum blonde sea elf. But they're mindless beasts, mostly. There's a little bit of like people speaking up about how like not recently they've been fighting much more. It's been quite some time, but my people, we have fought them before. And you can see kind of as y'all have gotten closer and kind of gotten around to his front side, he holds kind of in the crook of his arm a long stave that is very intricately carved and has like filigree and stuff within it, and ends on each end in these kind of slender, long, curved blades on each end. But he kind of has it in the crook of his arm like a bow staff, and under his other arm, kind of sat on the table in front of him, is a helm that's structured in such a way that it looks almost like the opening in the front looks like the maw of, those like really deep what are they? I can't remember what they're called. Those underwater fish, and they have like the weird kind of like their nose kind of curls up. You all seen the pictures of those things?
Like an anglerfish?
Not an anglerfish. I'm thinking of something specific, and I knew what it was earlier because I looked it up, and I forgot. But maw, the opening in the helmet looks more like a maw of some kind of beast, and then the top of an ocean beast, and the top of it, kind of going around the crown of it is teeth from various and sundry predators of the ocean. Like you see the teeth that look kind of like Julian's. Shark teeth, some of the like long pointed teeth like from an anglerfish and such on and so forth that kind of seem to be going around the crest of that helmet. The tribe that we fought, that I fought many years ago, but we exterminated them. They're parasites. I do not know from whence these came. They've always been. They cause problems. Bigger they are, of course, the worse. But no matter how disciplined they seem, they can only get so far. We fight smarter, we'll win. That is all there is to it. Well, that is what we are here to do. So, and Eleanor kind of gestures a hand off to the four of you. These gentlemen have recently returned from a scouting mission, one from whence none of our scouts have made it back. They made it all the way to the enemy's base, and even if they were not there for very long, they have gotten the best assessment of our enemy's forces and stronghold that we have been able to acquire, outside of guessing. So, just for everybody's refreshment, if you would. Just at the group of you.
Well, they got numerous patrols around their perimeters. I mean, days out, scouting parties, scouring the coast. But they don't go too far inland, so that's something we can use as an advantage if we want to try and get a little bit more of a drop on them. As far as water forces near the base, that's a hard to count situation there. There were hundreds. It was not a pretty sight.
There also was a shark present that was massive, had 2 heads, and was big enough to fight a black dragon.
You know, kind of giving this information out, you see some nods of like, they've been told this specifically already. Some kind of looks of kind of apprehension glancing around the table at the mention of the shark that large. God damn it, cat. But general kind of a lot of like, yep, that's what we had been told. So, what we ought to discuss as to how best approach. How hard do we push? And what are strengths, weaknesses of our forces? We'll have to do this in such a way to minimize casualties, but end the conflict as quickly as possible. Their numbers mean and extended. The longer this goes on, the more it's in their favor. So.
Well, we know that their stronghold, which used to be a stronghold for the lizard folk of the area in times past, has been sunk into the ocean by quite a bit. I'm not sure if that can be something we can use to our advantage or not.
So you're saying that more and more of this task falls to those of us that can fight well in the water. Lakatha speaking up. Unfortunately, it would appear this way. So you have very little to lose then. That is not correct. We cannot allow you to lose at all. We will try to. We have to try to maneuver them out of the water. Unfortunately, we also aware of at least some Koboliths have joined their cause to some extent. Do not know if it's willingly or otherwise, but they were spotted. Some more mutterings between the kind of Lakatha and the merfolk representative kind of sticking their heads together. So, we have troops from Burrow. Their entire speciality is operating within dangerous and hostile environments. Not quite the same as the marshes, but close enough. Currently, they will be going out before too long. They'll be trying to blaze some kind of trail a little deeper within the swamp, out and around, closer to this base. It's a larger force, avoiding as much notice as possible, but dealing with what patrols they have to. The hope is that with their assistance, we will be able to move more quickly in our forces through the marsh in order to hit them a little faster, less time to react. Kind of, they mutter a little bit back and forth, kind of goes around the table talking about just general, like, well, how long would it take to march your forces over, such and so forth. And the sea elf, who you guys come to learn through this conversation, because I haven't had a reason to say his name yet, is Myrdalon, is the leader of the Manon. And his wife and Oceanus' mother is Dordana. And they seem to work relatively in concert from what you gather from their discussion. So we will, as my troops and I, my people, we are of our seafaring forces, the more experienced, more battle-hardened. No offense to your people. Nodding over to Lakatha and the merfolk, who kind of, scrunch their noses up, but kind of shrug in like a, you're kind of right. So we will need to try to some kind of push and pull. Get some of them out of the water, begin to pressure from the water. They start to retreat. We pull back, you force, and it's kind of going back and forth. I must ask, what you four intend to do? What if... I am glad for the information you have brought, but... Skilled soldiers though you might be, skilled fighters, doesn't make a ton of difference on the battlefield individually. You've been in this... Were you able to get into this base? Their stronghold.
Kinda. We were able to get eyes in the base, not necessarily set foot in the base.
Could you?
It'd have to be a hell of a distraction, but we can try.
That is the question, though, is the timing. Because if you... Whoever is directing these, whatever is causing them to be more organized than normal, to gather in such large numbers, it can't be all of them. So, cut off the head. More disorganized, easier for us to manipulate. More predictable.
Makes sense.
Firebrand speaks up as well. Actually, how frequently can you do that? You've communicated with me over long distance. How frequently can you do that?
I can do it a few times per day, but it's rather taxing.
Indeed. You require distraction to enter, but if we distract them too early, their leaders may not be present. So this needs to be close.
Well, we ran into their scouts. They don't seem to be too keen on taking prisoners, so I doubt that whole idea is going to work out too good.
Of course. We'll hopefully be dealing with some of those scouts. Nodding over at whoever seems to be in charge of the regiment from Burl. Hopefully some of those will be dealt with. Cut off their eyes, they may be having to send larger and larger forces out from the water, leaving them less well defended. If you can get close enough and give us enough time to get a little closer with our main force, and then let us know, we can begin to attack. Or at least make it seem that way. Enough that there's enough time for you all to get inside if you think you can do so.
Additionally, don't forget that when their fortress is shown under significant threat, they pull out all stops with defenses. Those spell slingers and the shark would presumably be on the outside if they perceived you to be a significant enough threat.
That is the idea. We have
Is that something you could withstand?
That is the question. We have some among our forces, not many, unfortunately, who are more gifted in the arcane areas, and from what I understand, Myrtilon, you do as well. Myrtilon kind of dips his head and glances over to his wife, who kind of says, "Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Myself among them, we dabble in different areas, but we also know of this trick of communicating over long distances. This may be of use outside of just yourself," kind of looking at you, Bart, "and the good captain here. We will do what we can to counter the Covenant, but they are a war-hungry people. That's all they train for, with their magic users. As the good lady said. Depending upon their full numbers, we don't know how many of the coolness there will be. But that's why we will try to draw them out quickly, and hopefully you all will get inside. If we can prevent a full-on engagement until you have reported your success, then hopefully we can minimize our losses. If we need to commit harder in order to give you the opening you need, we will do so. It will not be much different from having to fight this battle anyway. If it can guarantee their loss of direction, a sound move in my book.
This shark nearly snatched a black dragon from the sky. Glue will look to the folk in the water. What do you have that could combat something like that?
The Lokatha and the merfolk, visibly nervous. I'm not sure. It will kill us. The Lokatha kind of looks over to the merfolk and then glances over to Myrtilon. Kind of raises a hand. If at all possible, we will avoid fighting this beast. But, if necessary, myself and some of my more skilled warriors will do what we can to keep it distracted. Run it in circles. As long as we keep it fixed on us, it cannot run rampant among the majority of our forces. We cannot afford to let it do so.
Well,
Julian.
okay.
Go ahead. I'd say
Yeah.
Julian doesn't speak up like to the council as a whole, but kind of leans over to Bart.
Would it not be best to neutralize those major threats prior to doing anything else?
If you think there could be a way we might be able to deal with some of the more dangerous aspects before the big battle starts?
If you have an idea, I'm all ears. But if it is heavily fortified, as you say, I don't know how we would do so without whoever is trying to perform the task being mobbed.
Well, like my friend here said, this thing did almost take a black dragon under and keep it there. And I don't imagine a black dragon takes too kindly to that. I mean, it could be an option that we could try and contact this black dragon again, maybe offer him something, or her, I'm not quite sure which it was, in exchange for defeating or keeping this large shark busy, flying above the water, maybe attacking it with the caustic breath it had. And if maybe it can draw it away from the main forces, it could be worth a deal. And as prideful as I've told they are, it might be worth it to get some revenge.
If the reptile thinks it can save face from its previous defeat, it may agree to these terms.
Sarif told me of your interest in this beast. What makes you think you can convince it not to cause havoc among our forces as well? It's from Otho Kent.
I have no clue. Faith. That's all I really got.
I cannot
Getting
bargain
around
my
this way.
people's lives on faith.
If it kills the shark and then attacks, we've traded one beast for another, and we're merely in the same boat.
This one is not limited to the water.
Julian
Yes.
just kind of like cuts his eyes over at all of the water-based creatures that probably see the shark as the bigger threat, but doesn't say anything.
Well, I mean, maybe if we give him a sweet enough deal, it will be inclined to not double cross us.
If you are able to think of something so sweet, I would love to hear it.
Maybe a nice new beachside residence? I don't know. We aid in evicting its current trespassers, as it were.
You forget that where they trespass is our home.
That's why I'm bringing it up to you.
The reality of the situation may not necessarily be as important as the reptile's perception of the situation.
I will not gamble my people's lives on a chance.
I'll kind of lean over to Julian a little bit and go, hey, maybe stop calling the dragon a reptile in front of all the lizard folk. It's just kind of like
Fucking the math meme pops up and it's like, very, very, very small nod.
Regardless, some decision must be made. As it stands, Otho Kent, your people, they what's the word that Ian is looking for, but Eleander would most certainly have at the tip of his tongue. They are flexible in that they can take part in the battle in the water as well as that on land. So if we keep your forces more in the middle, then perhaps we can ease enough pressure off of the battle in the water to prevent this beast from running rampant. Perhaps.
Do we have any ways that maybe we could turn the battlefield to our advantage? A large source of poison or anything like that we might be able to force the Sahuagin to land with? Deal with a greater portion.
Anything of that nature would equally harm our own efforts. For those of our forces that are less inclined to be able to do battle upon the land. Kind of
right.
glancing
But
towards Morgoth and Merfolk.
That means they're either forced to go into the front line of our forces, stay in some sort of dangerous area, or go to land. Which would you choose?
Possibly. Any idea where we might procure such a large amount of harmful substances? I do not profess that I keep large stockpiles of the stuff in my encampment. Kind of glancing over at the some of the other groups, and the lizard folk shrug. We have some poisons that are used for fighting various and sundry things within the swamp, on traps and things, but I do not know if we have enough to poison that large of a body of water, especially not for very long. We don't do much with the poisons outside of small potent doses, not large amounts of the stuff.
What about you? Gloob looks to Copperlocks.
We're mostly miners and the like. Don't deal much in poison.
Well, I'm not sure what kind of assurances I can give y'all that you'll be able to go in there and perform this assassin's task.
No one is forcing you to. It is an option.
Right. I mean, I'm happy to do it for saving the lives that it'll save, but as far as battlefield strategy, I mean, up until less than a few months ago, I was just a farmer, so.
What we could do. The forces from Burrowlawn as much formation fighters themselves. Once things have settled down, perhaps, rather than committing it to such a small group, we send in a few. The The more chaos caused within their base of operations, the better. Whichever you finds and deals with the threats, fantastic. Does not particularly matter. It'll be covered for quicker and hopefully more efficiently. And if nothing else, in the chaos, they'll call some of their forces back. They may, who knows, perhaps even they'll bring the shock back to defend their leaders. And that will give us time to push. We can also bring in some of our ships that have been on the patrolling side of things. I'm much happier to sacrifice a few hulls than the lives of many. We can replace boats.
Now, how much spare armor do we get? But spare suits of armor, land, like more human kind of armor.
An exact number I couldn't exactly tell you, but enough to make sure that some breakages or things can be hastily dealt with. What?
I was thinking, if you're okay with breaching a few holes, if you would maybe want to do some kind of ruse where you take the bulk of your supposed forces, you put them all on some boats like you're about to sail them right to the Sahuagin stronghold. Sahuagin will undoubtedly have advanced knowledge of this, and
Of course.
with the right amount of wind, you can try to get as close as possible. Of course, on them ships are not humans. The humans are all on the shore. On them ships are aquatic forces. When they send out a token force to deal with humans, that's when they end up with a whole lot more bad guys fighting them in the water than they expected. Then, when their forces may be diverted to try and attack some of those, we can slip in a little bit closer than they expected. They send out a small force to fight some humans on a boat, and that turns up nothing. No one's left alive. No one comes back. That might be the workings of a spring attack. I don't know.
Not a terrible idea. Anything that would divert some of their forces. Cause confusion. Disarray. Could be the beginnings of it. If we could split them a little further. If we have our forces pose on the boat and have some more posture on the shore and some posture in between in the water. They investigate all three. We pull back. Fight a little bit where necessary. Begin to string them out.
I mean, if we want to show our hands on the water and on the land, then, I mean, we can easily have the Rangers come in and harry the flanks once they send out forces on land. I don't think they'd have a chance against the Rangers.
I imagine not.
Yeah, I mean, if they, I mean, I've seen some of y'all Rangers out in the woods. If y'all catch them unawares in a wooded area, I don't imagine the Sahuagin will fare too well against that. Could be wishful thinking, though.
That is why you all are here, are you not? The Rangers kind of... I believe so, yeah. That's what we're good at least. Well. So, string them out on the shore. Picked off by the Rangers. As long as they'll put up with it anyway without a larger force coming on land. A boat as a ruse. I believe this will become workable.
Do we have any way of luring Sahuagin from the water on the land once we get to the stronghold?
Do you have a way to what? Sorry?
Lure the Sahuagin to land.
Well, if they are as easily angered as we believe they are, which I believe so. We have specifically kept the Rangers out of any combat for the moment. So that our first usages of them can be a surprise.
Right. Understandable.
So if we draw them out, they show some of the rangers and their troops show themselves here or there, draw up some larger parties. It won't start off large, but just a trickle, more than they would be committing to scouting forces. We just have to prick them, just a little bit, make them angry. They're overconfident as is.
Could it be possible to have barrels of pitch or other things that easily makeable to pollute the water? If we did pitch, could set the top of the water on fire, would, I imagine, cause some trouble, and
Perhaps.
might be a bit of a gross suggestion, but I know human waste probably isn't gonna be the best thing for them to be around. So if we start collecting from Saltmarsh, putting barrels and dumping in the water.
I think the issue may be the distribution process in that nature.
Oh.
But
Probably dumping barrels.
there are no bad ideas at this table.
Oh wow.
What if we took like a big seahorse and then we acted like we withdrew and we left this big seahorse as a gift for them, right?
Mm.
All right. And then they bring this big gift inside, and
Well-
inside we have a bunch of our soldiers.
Oh, I see. I feel like I've heard of an ancient battle strategy of something similar, but it was on land and
Just made it up on spot.
oh, it is possible. I'm not quite sure, but how big were the entrances that you said that you all saw there?
I'll turn toward.
Looks at Julian.
I don't think any of us actually looked inside the building.
Only one of us saw that entrance.
Yeah.
Julian, how big were the entrances, buddy?
Is that a wisdom check?
No. Intelligence.
You could
Oh,
fit a
no.
whole cruiser in there. They were massive.
That's what you say. That's what you do right there.
Y'all gonna make a whole ass Trojan seahorse, and it's gonna be for nothing because there's no door possibly big enough to fit in that
Alright.
fucking place.
So, I got a 14 on the dice.
Yeah.
with the
No,
plus.
there's no fucking way, bro. No fucking way. No way.
That's probably not gonna work.
Unfortunate.
Absolutely not gonna work.
I don't, from what I understand, the Sahuagin are not big on gifts in the first place, so that is a
They'd
worry.
probably try and eat it.
Possibly. So. Jesus Christ, my cat's trying to assassinate my computer. Well. So. Drag out their forces as best we can. As we can do. With repeated baits
Right.
and pricks and whatever we can do. Whatever we can perform with the arrival of the main force of the Manon, our strength in the sea is quite bolstered. If we can get them to overreach, overstep, even by a little bit,
Right.
that's the opening we require.
I think one of the things that we might be able to do best is that, when boats they're carrying a lot of load, they get
Low
down
in the
deep
water.
in the water, right?
Yes.
And I imagine Sahuagin probably use that as a measure of what's on a boat, right? If it's loaded down with
Possibly.
goods or right. So if we make a big showing of maybe even having water in some of these ships for some of our aquatic friends to be able to sustain themselves with, for it being laden with troops, having those forces being our primary forces, and then our smaller secondary land force that's marching on up towards their base, like with that situation, hopefully, you know, the forces that they send to meet our land group, I wouldn't imagine would be quite as big, or it would be rather sizable, and you know, the Rangers should be able to eat them up pretty good.
Indeed. If we have a smaller contingent along the land closer to the shore, that's being watched over by the Rangers in secret, while the majority of our force moves from deeper within the marsh to get closer. They may think it's easy pickings, send a larger group of their forces to attack them. While they seem vulnerable, rely on the Rangers and that force to pull themselves out of there while we commit to an assault. Perhaps. Also possible. There's some more back and forth. As they're just kind of discussing things, like using the boats as bait, seeing how easy it is to bait out the Sahuagin and such on and so forth, and it goes on for a while. And as it does so, this is where we're gonna go ahead and take a break, because I realize we're going past by a little bit, so we're just gonna go ahead and be like, oh, there's people. So we'll be right back before too long. I know for more
refreshments. That's what it
was. They're going. Everybody had to use the bathroom real fast. There's a little snack table off on the side with like ants on a log and like
or sushi.
Yeah, there's just like all kinds of like. So
God.
There's some donuts.
Our folk are kind of fish flopping all the way over there.
They've got like a floating version.
Why is this water so warm all of a sudden?
They've got a little floating version of their own thing that's over in the water. But we'll be right back. We're just gonna take a quick refreshment break ourselves. But we'll be back here to continue this exciting war planning action.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Bye. Hello. Welcome back.
Too much D&D on them.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back here with Hard Knock Dice. The second half of this here goes Saltmarsh session number 44. I don't know. I felt the need to do the number. We're only 10 behind the Eberron game now. We take a few more breaks like this last one, we'll be ahead.
We're catching up.
Anywho, we'll never catch up in levels though. I don't think that'd be really hard unless I just started giving them out like candy. I'm not gonna do it. Don't look hopeful. That's fine.
Lisa, can I have some?
Lisa, you can't have any levels if you don't eat your story.
If you don't eat your story.
That being said, we're gonna hop back into this. On this riveting episode of Saltmarsh in the first half, our heroes looked for some cows, realized that they had been collected, went, assisted with some training, which in Gloob's case was actually being helpful in the training portion of the skills. Jakob became a disciplinary measure and beat the crap out of unruly recruits. Bart and Julian spread some joy and story among those that are injured, as well as some good berries. Bart appeased the gnomish blacksmith with some homemade cooking, allowing Jakob to bang out a quick amulet of Sorololi for Bart as a replacement. In return, Bart gave him a very old amulet that he himself still carried, so that Jakob could have Sorololi's protection as well, presumably. I don't know. Maybe just to mark him as his property. I don't know. I don't know what Bart's doing. I don't know what he's thinking.
It's got a targeting chip in it for the satellite.
Perfect. Tracking. Gotta know where he is at all times.
The halfling Star Wars laser is gonna get him if he crosses me.
Fantastic. Bart and Julian hung out on the boat for the rest of that afternoon. Jakob did some more assistance with training, and Gloom found a quiet spot which to read his book and make a small flower crown before sprinting like a motherfucker back to the boat, seemingly satisfied. They were then summoned shortly thereafter to the war council, now that the representatives of the Manon had arrived. The final and majority representatives, which included the leader of the Manon, aka Oceanus' dad, also known as Myrtilon, as well as his wife, Dordana. And they had some chit-chatting, went from determining what the party was going to do, possibly contemplating them being involved in an assassination mission of the leadership of the Sahuagin, using the main forces of the anti-Sahuagin alliance, the ASA, the ASA, to draw out the Sahuagin defenses so that they may do so, but while leaving little enough time that the leadership wouldn't quite have departed, so it was going to be a finicky, timing-driven attempt. There were then some other ideas tossed around, some good ones like using some ships from Saltmarsh as a ruse and as bait, leading to the ambush of some of the Sahuagin forces, maybe drawing them out onto land if at all possible, seeing if maybe they could spitball some ideas for poisoning enough of the water in that section of the ocean to, maybe force them out, as well as to using barrels of human shit for the same reasons. That was, unfortunately, shot down as an idea. So we return.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Unfortunately, I mean, it'd been kind of funny. Just like, all right, guys, get the next shit barrel.
They're like, oh god, just stop, please.
Get the next shit.
We're over.
We surrender. Good Lord, stop throwing shit at us. Jesus. Anywho, so we return to the councils. They reconvene. Eleander and the others had kind of grouped together. Well, we very much appreciate all of the ideas, those outlandish and reasonable. But we will be continuing to plan probably for most of the night. For the now, we'll plan around the idea of trying to get you all the gap you need in the enemy's defenses to hopefully sneak in and, if not assassinate their leadership, cause whatever havoc you may. The primary intent is to break their lines of communication and allow us to take apart their forces in as efficient a way as possible, leading to as few casualties on our side as possible. However you choose to do so, or whatever opportunities present yourselves, is up to you. If between now and whenever we plan to execute the beginnings of this operation, you all have a different idea or separate priorities or the like, please keep us informed. I'm sure you all have better things to do at this time. So,
all right. Yeah, all right.
You're welcome to
break.
Stay and watch, of course, if you would like. This is by no means required.
Just kind of look towards the group.
I mean, once a plan for whatever we're doing comes forth, I think once it's formulated, just contact us.
Of course, I believe, unless you have changed your minds, yours is fairly straightforward. It's more on our end that will be the bits and bobs, the small details. I believe mostly, if I understand correctly, the intent is for you all to position yourselves in such a way for easy entry, as close as possible as you can get, and letting us know when you are ready via your magic communications, Bartholomew, and we will commence our distraction. You will insert and do whatever it is that you are able to do with perhaps some of Burl's forces accompanying you and probably splitting off to make things a little easier. Less ground to cover, less guards that may get on your ass or theirs. Split the job, as it were.
Absolutely.
Gloob, is there some comment you would like to make? Well. Well, if you have any questions, of course, contact us. Or any changes of plan, it would be most appreciated to keep us informed.
All right, we absolutely. Do y'all have a time frame that you think we might be prepared to go?
We'll be preparing to depart, hopefully, within the next day. Little time as possible for them to gain knowledge of our added numbers of both the Rangers from Burl as well as the majority of the CL forces. Little they know, the better.
All right.
Already have some of our boats on the move.
Sounds good. Okay.
Very well.
How is the I know this is an odd question. How is the table to the like little pool arranged? Are they like butted right up against each other?
It's close enough so that they can, like, with where the level of the water is, be enough out of the water they can see the table, and they've got like maps and shit laid out on there that they're using for reference in the planning.
Could Gloob fit in between that area to basically have an audience with the? I think it was a Lakatha member that was speaking up.
There was both a Merfolk and the Lakatha. Lakatha was being a little more vocal insofar as concerns.
Yeah, that guy.
But they were touched. I mean, it'd be easily enough for you to just kind of get over there to him.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm gonna say yet, so this will be fun. Listening to your voice.
Dude, his big old eyes, as your approach, just kind of looks down at you. These eyes are like big as like small plates.
It's the same Lakatha we saw last time talking to.
Different guy.
Okay, not the one with the beautiful eyes. So
no,
I'm not.
This is not the pretty-eyed one. That was their ambassador. That was the one that was like doing negotiations. This is like the leader of their forces, as meager as those might be.
All right. I've heard plenty of cowards speak before. And I know that in times of war, the cowards can leave good people, or at least good soldiers, on a field. If you turn and run, where do you think you would run to?
He's kind of looking at you as
Stop
you
looking
talked.
around. Look at me.
He's looking at you. Like he's kind of like mostly one eye, because they're kind of on the sides.
He still says it because he's not exactly sure.
I will make whatever choice is right for my people. We've agreed to fight because of the dangers of where we may go. But if it's between that and extermination,
Where do you run to?
somewhere else within the ocean, I presume.
You've seen them spread like a plague.
Indeed, that's why we stand now.
If you run, they spread you again eventually. Except for this time, there's no actual warriors to defend you.
It's kind of...
I pray the men that you're sending out there with them have more heart than you've displayed here.
I am entirely invested in ensuring that my people are not used as cannon fodder in this conflict.
I point back to my party, myself, literally everybody standing in this room that's about to march tomorrow. Which one of us do you think defines ourselves as cannon fodder?
Presumably none. But I have to look out for mine and my own. And yes, we are scared. We aren't
Good.
soldiers.
Being scared is fine. Abandoning the people out there when things get scary, not fine. If you do run, don't let me see you.
Make an intimidation check.
Not bad. Intimidation is +1, so 16 + 1 for 17.
It kind of looks at you, kind of out to the side. He just kind of looks away, returning his attention to the table.
Who's gonna think about what he said for a second? I'm just gonna leave it where it lies. He's gonna turn around.
Okay. Do you all exit?
Ooh, well, that food wasn't very good.
There was food?
Kinda.
It's like a couple lettuce wraps left on the table. Things like kind of half falling apart, you know, not a whole lot left to them. It's like the
You can
very
tell
last ones
that
in the bunch.
You can tell that lettuce, they just pulled off the brown parts. You know how it gets. Still weren't very good. In any case, tomorrow, huh?
Big day.
As y'all walk out, Eleander just kind of calls you. Also, speak with the quartermaster within our section of the camp. He may be able to hook you up with something that may help you on your way. See what he's got in store.
All right.
Whatever we can spare, anyway.
I appreciate it. We all do.
Of course. Turns back to the table. This music is way too happy.
I'll do a respectful nodding hat tip leave.
Okay. So, y'all
to the important people at large.
right. So y'all are led back out to the exit. Do as you will.
All right.
As they continue planning into the night.
I was about to say, it's about nighttime now, right?
Yeah. It was around dusk when y'all were summoned.
Well, we might want to speak to the quartermaster tonight, because I imagine he's going to be incredibly busy tomorrow morning.
It's fair.
Oh yeah.
Let's try to catch him before he backs up.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, I'm mosey on in that direction, I guess.
Okay.
What was the for glue feet?
But quietly, because
Yeah,
boots of a kind.
Yeah.
You feel like you should, whenever you're looking at glue block, you feel like you should hear it. It's like phantom. It's like phantom limb pains, but phantom sounds. You feel like they should be there, but they're not actually. It's really weird. Strange feeling. But y'all make your way over to kind of where y'all know the quartermaster is. Dude, guy just packing some shit away. Looks like he's starting to get closed up for the evening.
Hey, before you shut all down there, you were speaking at the Eleander. You said you might have some stuff for us going on out there to the Sahuagin base camp.
Quite probably. What do you need? I have
You said you might have some extra
and
stuff.
armor It really depends. He just kind of starts kind of going back through his things. Like, you all appear to be armed unless some of you wishing to change. It looks over at Glib and kind of tilts his head to said, may have to have some things resized for you, but
I think I'm pretty okay right now. Y'all need anything? We might want to get some ropes and grappling hooks. I don't know what our tally is for that in the bag of holding.
I have a grappling hook. It's just the one though. Do you have any of these by chance? I'll hold up an empty healing potion bottle.
Right, those can be very useful.
he kind of reaches out hand. His hand compared to yours is much larger. He kind of plucks it out.
Yeah, watch them fingers.
Of course. Takes it and looks at it. I believe we have some. You said Eleander sent you. Yes, I think I recognize a lot of you. Pretty distinctive. Looks over at Julian, just kind of sees teeth and goes, yeah.
Not
Rub his
alive.
face. We don't have much to spare, but kind of rummages around. I think we could spare one for each. Pulls out
That'd be great.
two potions in each hand.
All right.
I do need some javelins, if you have any.
I believe we have some, yes. Some quite a few produced by blacksmiths and kept in reserve. How many are you needing?
I just need 4.
Easily done. Just kind of rummage around, pulls out 4 javelins. And all the
Alright.
armaments, odds and ends. Don't have like cookware, but
Grappling hooks.
Right. We're going to need ropes,
some
and
ropes and
grappling
grappling
hooks.
hooks. I believe I have some of
Right.
those. How many would you like?
Or do you have like any of I read books to where they shot arrows with that were grappling hook arrows? Hey man.
Weirdly enough, I do with a 100 on the percentile.
Hell yeah. They got shipped to us by mistake. We're just gonna go
We
with
just-
like the Doom 3 logic here. of
Basically.
having chainsaws on Mars.
Like we just had them for some reason. I'm not quite sure. I think this is some. I don't know, but yeah, we have a couple of those.
Someone got drunk and was like, "Hey, what do we need to fight the fish people? Some damn grapple arrows, that's what."
Oh, yeah.
That was Firebrand. That's canon.
He was having some fire brandy, and he just his orders started getting a little frisky. But
They were there. He figured, why not ship them?
sure, why not? Hashtag YOLO. He hands you over 2 fucking grappling hook arrows.
Yeah.
Not very
I
many,
assume-
but
I assume they have like
we don't have much use
like
for them.
a cord thing that goes with them.
Yeah, it's like a thin, like that thin silk, braided silk cord.
Hey,
Is that
nice.
something that I would be able to put in the crossbow, or would Julian need to fire those?
I'll say they're multifunctional.
Hell
Why
yeah.
not?
That means we can both fire them at once. That's what's up.
Now, depending on what you're trying to put them in, varying levels of success, I imagine. Just eyeballing them for a few moments. Depending on the material, I mean,
Stone? Rock?
possibly. Probably a
No,
little
I'm
more
saying
difficult.
that's what we're gonna
Oh.
that's what
Oh,
we're gonna be
well.
trying to put them into.
probably have more trouble than with wood, I imagine.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Did you say a 19 on the attack roll would do that?
Maybe more having to do with the amount of damage the projectile deals to the surface it's impacting.
You think you can sneak attack a fortress?
I'm not quite sure what that entails. So.
Go have Jakob go stand next to
Sorry.
the
Go stay, yeah. Go threaten. Go be a threaten the fortress.
So yeah,
Yeah.
4 healing potions, 2 grappling arrows. You got your javelins. What else could we use?
I said you wanted some grappling hooks, or do the grapple arrows take care of that particular?
We
I
no,
still
we
have-
probably a
backup.
just in cases is not going to be bad.
I still have my grappling hook from
Oh,
the Isle.
so that's 2. Then 2 that we have.
I say I'll go and say, since these are like grappling hook arrows, it's more of a, they're like grappling hooks on like smaller ones, but attached to like very high quality cord. And so you could just get it like way farther than you could chuck a regular grappling hook. So it's less for firing directly into a surface and more for like using the angles to get it up on, like that would be more, I'm going to retcon that, as it's more based on aiming it in a spot where it'll get hooked than trying to just slam it into the side of a stone wall. Because that makes way more sense.
I mean, unless you have some type of magical weapons back there that'll help us in our mission.
I really wish I did, but unfortunately not. I'm kind of more
You
of the
per,
regular brand.
you perchance got anything that might help breathing underwater?
Y'all still, I think, have a couple of those, correct?
We do. We have 2 of them.
Unfortunately, I don't have any of those on my person. The more of the priority was on the sort that keep people's innards on the inside.
That's
about-
fair.
Or 2 of these, and I'll hold up Jakob's hand with the ring swimming on it.
Hey,
I don't think any. I don't know if anybody's giving away wedding bands. No.
just before my friend here asked, do you have any bottles that have an endless supply of water in them?
No.
It just keeps pouring and pouring. All right,
Nope.
worth a shot.
Didn't even roll.
That does sound very useful though. I can see how a fellow maybe one want something like that. Sounds quite useful. Maybe like a jug that could just produce endless like beer. That'd be more my speed. It slaps like a bit of a pot belly. Got a little bit of beer belly going on. I don't know what changed, but just find one, send it my way.
I'll keep that in mind.
Appreciate it.
Cloaks of the sort. You got plenty of those. Darker color.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll probably need some of those. You by chance
They will.
got any you got any diamonds?
Fresh out, unfortunately. You know, I'm a jeweler in my spare time, so they go quick.
They got some significance in magical.
Oh, I said they have a lot of significance in many places of a monetary kind, but
Yeah,
I'm not much of a magic user. You know.
All right. Well,
Cloaks I can provide though.
Okay, yeah, we'll happily.
Yoink
You know,
some dark colored cloaks.
couple of
He's
short
got
ones,
like
couple
smaller
longer
ones because there are some there are some folk of the smaller variety. Just kind of hands those out to y'all. Sure.
Um,
On the off chance that this guy might have some odd ends, and I have some tools that I would like backups for, or perhaps better made. And I'm gonna whip out my thieves' tools, and I'm gonna say, "These help me get into places where I'm not supposed to be." And considering I'm going to be trying to get into a place where I'm not supposed to be, this may be useful.
Roll a persuasion check. He's kind of eyeing you. He's eyeing your thieves' tools, and you see like a glint of recognition.
Natural 1.
Oh no.
I would never keep something like that in my wares. That would be downright
Insight
illegal.
check.
Roll an insight check.
18.
I would...
He is lying.
He is lying.
My insight's actually plus. Oh no, it is +1. Okay, I thought it was +0. So yeah, 18.
Does Julian also tell he's lying or what?
Roll an insight check for me.
Oh God. Maybe. Oh yeah, Julian actually has a wisdom score worth of shit. I'll be a 17.
Yeah, he's lying. He's like, no, I
With
would.
a quick.
I
a
would
quick
not
darting
keep.
glance.
I would not keep such nefarious things within my goods. That would be
I
terrible.
don't
Quick
know
darting
what that
glance over to Gloob. He's gonna use the earpiece to be like,
Just talk to him about it afterwards.
After what?
I'm an upstanding quartermaster. I do not deal in contraband.
with an 8.
Shh, I'm on the phone. Calm down. Stop it.
With an 18 on the die with the insight, I'd like to just go. You mean like those right there? And just point behind him, like that.
What do you
shit?
mean? She was pointing at like
Yeah.
some like maces. He's like,
Yeah.
Those are maces, not things of which he's inquiring.
All right. I just didn't know if he would spin around quickly or what.
He looked over his shoulder definitely, but he was like, "Oh, this is just."
Right.
What do you
right, Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Natural one's a
Gloob,
bitch.
How doesn't Gloob drink beer?
Why does? Was it anything else of a more forthcoming variety that I could provide for you, gentlemen?
I'm trying to think. You know, we got
Oh,
so
yeah,
many
yep.
situations you
Mhm.
might end up in.
Dangerous,
Definitely wanna be-
dangerous place out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm glad you not me. Mm-hmm. Not really fit for it. I did my years of service, and now I'm just kind of a little more of the laid back position.
Anything that'll help in the war, because that's kind of our
That's,
goal.
it depends on what you require to accomplish whatever tasks you are being set.
What do you call a person that doesn't help with the war efforts? That might actually hurt the war efforts. What do you call that type of person?
What do you mean?
What do you call a person that hurts the war efforts?
I guess
Like
it
a
depends
traitor?
if they're like,
Oh, are you a traitor?
how am I a traitor?
Are you a
Whoa,
traitor?
hey! Whoa, hey, hey!
I'm wielding a long purple finger.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, I thought you were pulling out your rapier. I was like, whoa, shit.
yeah, I was like, we went from 0 to
All right,
80
wait,
fast.
that is
Seems like
quite the
pulling out a
accusation you make there, my little purple friend.
You give me tools. You're a bad
What do you
liar.
mean?
Give him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Give him right here.
Julian does kind of like lean
Make an
over towards
intimidation
you, like,
check.
You are a bad liar.
Make a what?
An intimidation check.
Oh God. +1.
Listen, and my friend don't mean
What do you
anything
mean?
about it. Oh shit.
10. I would give them to you if I had them, but I assure you I do not.
Can I tell if he's lying?
Roll an insight
We have
check.
established that he is lying already.
Oh, yes, but I don't know.
He
this.
has it. Jakob has not.
Everybody but Jakob.
7.
You're pretty sure he's telling the truth. Like, this man is an upstanding member of the military. He does not harbor such illicit contraband.
Now hold up. Now I mean, I don't know about you guys. You say
Did you
he's
just get
bad
real
lying.
southern all of a
You seem-
sudden? It's
You
infectious.
seem to be telling the
So,
truth.
Julian's gonna like kind of shuffle over to the guy and like lean in and be like,
What? He's leaning away from you.
You're a really bad liar, but I'll
I
give
don't
you
know what
50
you're talking
gold.
about. What? Make a persuasion check. Not an advantage because now y'all are freaking this guy out. So it's countering it. It would have been a disadvantage. What's up, dude? Is that a natural one?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm making
tell.
sure. Yeah, that's.
I couldn't tell if that was like a good
don't
lean
know.
in or a
Sad
bad
face.
lean in.
It was a. This is gonna be a close one lean in because that was a 10 on the dice for a 14.
High low,
That's
Julian.
double the cost. By
High
the way.
low, Julian.
High.
There you go. That's my boy. Always high. I would never take bribes even if I had it. Just kind of looks away from you like up and.
Where does he look to?
He's just looking like at the ceiling. He's just looking away from Julian because Julian's like down here looking up at him. So he's like this and just goes, "Oh, I would never
Still
stoop."
leaned in, he'll say,
50 might be a bribe to you, but is
I don't know what
75
you
a
mean.
sale?
Make one more persuasion check for me. Is he just kind of like one eye, like looking down, like,
that'll be an improvement to 16.
perhaps.
Just start counting gold.
Like,
Little stacks of 10.
he just watches that, he just stack it out and he just kind of
7
pockets
stacks
them
of 10,
one at a time, and
one
then just
stack of
says,
5.
"Well, since y'all been so generous, let me, just in case."
You found
steps
the
back in and rummages around and some stuff. He goes, "Well, it looks like I may have just the few bits of things that I can cobble together for you," and just comes back around and like plops a fully stocked Thieves' Tools kit just right in here. Like, look, I just from bits and bobs I had around, I could compile together about what you were looking for. It would seem, yep.
Anyone with a keen perception check will see the active cringing of spending 75 gold for something. He's like, how many children's clothes would this pay for? How much food for the household would this pay for? Repairs? A new sail?
Well,
So you had it the whole time, huh?
I don't know what you mean.
You
I
just
just-
forgot
I just-
about it.
I just had a few bits and pieces that it was something resembling.
It's not very neighborly of you.
What do you mean?
You know, we're going out for you and yours, right?
Do it just like,
But he's not going to take it back. That's not
What?
right.
What do you mean? I am simply I do my best to make sure contraband does not come
Give it back.
through my quarter.
Give it back.
What?
Give it back. Give back the gold.
What
That's
do you
not right. 75 gold my friend just gave you. It fell out of his pocket into your pocket. However you wanna phrase it. Give it back.
Whatever do you mean? It was a kind donation.
Julian looks incredibly awkward right now. He's just like,
And he's just kind of rambling like it was about it.
You said we look familiar, right? You know of us.
You made quite a few splashes around these parts. Yep.
What's the last big splash you heard about?
I believe you took care of that knife wielding assailant.
There was a guard there. Now sits in jail for doing exactly what you're doing right now, by accepting gold.
What?
Is he just dumb and not getting what I'm saying, or
I
he's
think y'all are
just-
referencing entirely different events.
Son, it's like this, all right? That 75 gold we earned doing favors for your fine people. And since then, for almost a month now, we hadn't got paid a single gold. Helping you out, slaying that creature, calling a dragon on the Sahuagin days behind enemy lines. You're going to give me
You did
the
what?
damn 75 gold back. Yeah, you heard me. A dragon.
Roll a persuasion check. At
I would like to
disadvantage.
roll an intimidation check.
At disadvantage.
Okay. 16. Yeah, 16.
$16.
Mm-hmm.
He looks taken aback for a moment, but and your
No.
donation is greatly appreciated. We'll receive quite a bit of equipment that I believe will help you along nicely. We have to replenish, of course, our stocks some way.
Mm-hmm.
Art, Julian, and Glue. This is pointless. Let's just go. I'm gonna
Julian's been
try.
over here like this the whole time.
I'm gonna try to just herd everybody away, out of earshot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let myself be heard and then just give that guy over his shoulder. Well, you know what? Hey, I'm sure gods will smile favorably upon you.
And you as
Julian
well.
Julian will put a hand on Bart's shoulder, kind of helping with the hurting, and he'll just say, he's not shouting it, but also not whispering, like,
Some people are just shitty and greedy. This is how you have to deal with them.
I'm gonna whisper once we're out of earshot. I'm sure a anonymous tip to Firebrand that comes in the night. I'll inform him that his quartermaster is taking legal contraband, selling it, and shaking down soldiers attempting to complete their missions.
I mean, that's fine. I don't mind that. I mean, I understand military camps, they got contraband that comes in. It's necessary to a degree, all that stuff. I get it. I mean, people got to live. They got to get this, that, and the other. I understand. But
Well,
It is what it is.
generally
We got-
speaking, those people aren't going the next day to risk their lives for you. I mean, we're not soldiers. We're not part of this army. We're helping.
I would say
He's
at
trying
this
to
point
fleece us down.
we are part of this army. We're the
We're
people that
volunteers, I
helped create
suppose.
it.
Yeah,
And
that's
the very least, I don't like the fact that there's contraband, but I also understand, and you all have shown me this, that sometimes exceptions need to be made. But what I don't stand for is, as you said, when men and women are going to go put their lives on the line, some son of a bitch wants to make a few dollars from his brothers, his sisters, and he served. He said he served. And spit on the ground. That's all he's doing to the memory of the people that died, people that are going to die tomorrow.
I'll
can
kind of
have
reach
this
up
every-
and pat a hand on the, I guess Jakob's kind of lower back. Oh now, son, there's no reason to get that angry about it. I mean, if I get mad at him, I might just say some words. Nobody needs to go losing limbs now. Just take a walk.
I won't.
I'm sorry, I made a big deal about it.
I'd never heard a man for doing that, but a tip in the night is a tip in the night.
We got what we needed. Fuck him and move on.
All right.
and he will hand the
my.
kit over to Gloob.
Just let him be. We've got things to worry about. A lot more important.
I'm gonna steal your gold back, by the way. I'm pretty good.
Julian.
At that.
Julian
mean-
shrugs.
He's practically giving me the tools to do it.
It's almost like that's why it's contraband.
Julian, he's just like,
Suit yourself.
Right. I mean, it's not about how much money it costs, right? I mean, I get it. Like, sure, it's just the principle of the matter. I know you can get the money back. It's just him taking it. Just rubs me wrong dang way. That's all. Well, guess let's try to get some sleep if we got all we're gonna get.
All right. So make sure y'all marked everything down. Did y'all end up getting any grappling hooks aside from the grapple arrows? Or are y'all good with
Yeah,
the
I
two
think-
that y'all already had in your inventory?
Yeah, if we had two, yeah. Oh, yeah. we
Because
should
I
be
know
fine with
Gloob and Jakob each already had a grappling hook. Then you'll got 2 grapple arrows. Split those up as you will. 4 potions of healing, 4 javelins, and then 1 additional set of thieves' tools, I believe is what it came out to. And some cloaks. However many in whatever color y'all desired. Just A-okay.
Bright yellow.
Neon
No.
orange, baby. It's so that other hunters do not mistake you for.
Are
Pray.
Sahuagin colorblind at all?
I don't think so.
are.
Not to my knowledge. It's not. It doesn't say
Uh,
in their stat block. So I'm gonna go with no.
It doesn't say in their stat block.
In many cases, fish color vision is probably comparable to that of humans.
There you go.
Interesting.
So super not colorblind. They're like, and then you have like, was it that one species of shrimp that can just see like a bajillion more colors than we can? Fucking assholes. Shaking my head, asshole.
Shrimp over there, just like, what if I was just
Stop
better?
hugging all the colors, you dicks.
Anyway.
Before we go to bed, I want to do 2 things. Which are write that anonymous tip in the night and find somebody to hand deliver it to Firebrand. I'll give them 3, like a gold or 2, to make sure it gets done tonight. And then after that, I'm going to crack open my book. And upon seeing the writing inside of it, I'm going to flip through it, trying to find my favorite parts.
Oh my.
And then just...
Oh no.
Oh god.
What have you been doing?
Ah!
with this book?
Ah!
No, I'm finding my favorite parts of the book. And then
all the pages opened up okay, right?
Yeah?
Did they, Jakob?
Yes?
Okay, they did.
Jesus?
Heronius?
And I'm gonna
Horrendous
clap it
gaze
shut.
upon you.
And look. Bart,
Yeah.
what do you mean the reverse Fizzband's jackhammer is impossible? Huh? What about the Orcish cavalry charge?
You try to do that to a woman, she's gonna have her back thrown back worse than a mule with a boulder on it.
Okay, but come on. Count Dracubone's flying escapades?
That's a good way to break your neck. Yep.
Is Julian in?
Chris
is
wrote
Julian
these
in
down. I
earshot?
can see him looking down at him. You fucking asshole.
Is Julian in earshot?
It's a
You're
small
on the
boat. It's a small boat.
Now hold
God
on.
damn
Hold on.
it.
You see him like Julian just like his much more innocent book. He claps shut and he's going to stand up and walk somewhere.
Now hold on.
He's like a
The
blushing
Assassin's
maiden.
Backward Dagger Dance. Come on. You have to say that is the best part of the book. And entirely possible.
No. If you do that,
I'm glad we don't have sponsors.
if you do that, you just you know what sometimes doing is the only way you can kind of teach the young. So you'll find out. And when you do, tell me about it and I can laugh at you.
Look, I know it might be a little bit hard to find about 15 gallons of pudding. But, I mean, it'd make for a fantastic evening.
Pudding makes for a fantastic even by itself, son. You just eat the pudding.
The angry Hydra.
I appreciate the notes.
They're for everybody's well-being.
I'll
Clark,
grumble.
you're gonna scar this poor
I
fish
just
man
swear
for
it
the rest of
does.
his
And
life.
you know, that's where we're going to end the session. That's enough D&D for one night.
I'm gonna grumble and just go back to reading my book.
All right.
Sure.
I do
Notations and
have
all.
some things to do
Sure. What
before
would you
we
like
go
to
to
do?
bed.
Sure.
I got these spell slots, you see.
He's going to go murder the fucking quartermaster.
Oh God, Jesus.
You know how I've cast Guiding Bolt the whole campaign? Boom!
Well, I thought I was gonna be fighting an evil knife-wielding demon, so I decided to prepare some extra oomph from Sorrel.
Howdy, bitch.
That's when Flynn
No,
discovered, like, he might be a little bit meaner than the others, but infinitely less murdery than the others.
Special beam cannon, baby. Anywho, what actually are you doing with your spell slots? Bart?
Message to Anders.
Okay. Somebody count it off, because I'm too lazy to do it.
Anders, Bart. Probably going to be going off to war tomorrow. You get situated with Zendros. That's it. Straight to the point.
Handful of moments later, because you keep throwing these at people who have never experienced it before.
I thought I messaged Anders once before.
I don't think so. Did you?
I thought I told him to meet with Zendros.
I thought you told him to do that while y'all were there.
Oh, well, shit.
Let's just scare the living shit out of a bunch of
In the middle of the night.
This motherfucker's not asleep.
He's too strung out on cocaine. He can
Yeah.
possibly
Art
be
is why
asleep.
people have to go to therapy.
He's hyped up on Mountain Dew. What?
Over to Anders, you just hear.
What?
What's going on?
Anywho, so handful of moments later, you do hear. Hello? Yeah, I spoke to Zendros. Got the information that she had given to you guys and promised some more.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Anybody y'all fellas want to talk to? Or get a message out to? I can't really, I mean, I don't know why I said it first. I can send a message to them, like across the long distance, like a sentence or two.
How far can you send it?
Anywhere, as long as you describe them well enough and I can get a clear mental image, or if you have like a picture, maybe that might help a little bit. Like a painting.
Well, I mean, if you can send a message to my wife, just tell her that I'm sorry and I miss her. And that, I hope to see her soon.
Do I have any clue what Jakob's wife looks like?
I'll describe her to you. She's pulling up D&D Beyond page.
How detailed does the description you give have to be?
Really descriptive.
Because I think you have to be like you have to know them. You have to be able to very clearly picture them in your head.
I can give you all the details about my wife. I mean, I would be able to.
Oh my!
Probably the best out of anybody.
It
biblically,
to a creature with which you are familiar.
Okay, so.
Alright, you got to make a clay sculpture, paint it, fire it, and it's got to be like perfect. I mean, I don't know what kind of check this would be. How well can you describe your wife? It's been years, right?
I think so, yeah. Or maybe like a year and a half.
Give me like
two.
Give me a wisdom check. Say with proficiency since you were married.
Marriage proficiency.
Marriage proficiency.
16.
I mean, it's a pretty good description, but if you're not quite sure, Bart.
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
What was her name? Her first name?
Brandela.
What you want me to say?
Brandelith. It's Jakob. I know it's been a long time.
Wait, but Bart
Couple
sent it
sentences, son. Couple of sentences, son. No,
What was
I
that?
gotta send it. I'm asking you to tell me what you want me to say.
As I said, Brandleth, I know it's been a long time. I miss you wherever you are, and I hope to see you soon. I love you.
I think that fits well within 25 words.
All right. I'll yeah, if that's exactly less than 25 words, then
I'm pretty sure it is. There's not very many.
I'll shift that on over. Try my best.
Jakob got a lot more southern. Howdy.
Shut up.
No, I'm talking about because Bart is sending the message saying,
Oh.
"Hey, Brandon, this is Jakob."
Yeah, I might not use the exact same word. Jakob tells.
Jakob, is that you? You sound different. But no, you send it off. Don't seem to get a response.
Does it fail to meet a mark?
Can you tell? Or is it just fired off into the wild blue yonder?
I guess not.
I say it's not like you get a message like the number you were trying to reach is not available at this time, or like, so you fire it off, it goes somewhere.
Well, it went off. I don't know if I got her, unfortunately.
I appreciate you trying.
Mm-hmm. Always. Shot in the dark for y'all too.
You can just message anybody.
I can give it a shot. If you describe them to me well enough, I might be able to do it. No promises.
What if I got a picture of them?
That'd be a lot better. Are you gonna fucking make me message a pirate?
The fucking message this guy is the fucking book cover.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna do.
All right, what you want me to say, Glue?
Glue goes into the bag of holding, holds it up, and shows you a picture of the same pirate that you've seen before. It says, "Yeah, we bet if this guy was real or not."
How did you bet?
Right? Of course he does.
All right, for sure.
It's holding the book for you, just like looking.
Yeah. I've seen the book before. I'm pretty sure. Let me. I'll hold it up and I'll start
Pretty good picture.
investigating it thoroughly.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say though?
I don't know. I've never thought that would actually be a choice. I don't know. What would you say?
I mean, he's your hero, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, tell him you're about to go off on a good adventure, and you'll make him proud, I guess. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
First, we need to ask him if he's real, right?
Well, if it catches him, you'll know it's real.
Okay.
All right. I'll send off a message. What was this guy's name?
Captain One-Eyed Darby. Is the name on the book.
I say, Captain Darby, I'm here with Glue, your biggest fan. It's about to go off on a great adventure and do you right, slaying lots of monsters. How many more I got?
I think that was it right there.
Do I get a response, DM?
It definitely goes somewhere, but
Okay.
no response. It leads. It exits.
19 plus 5 on a deception check. Oh, all right. He was in the middle of a fight. He said, "That's great. Message him another time." But he said he'll remember your name.
Julian looks impressed.
Gloob.exe.
There's a fat 5 on Julian's insight check.
Blue was just silent the whole fucking time, just awestruck. He like goes and grabs his book back.
Yeah.
Starts talking to the book. Says, "I knew it."
Julian, still looking kind of impressed and a little concerned, looks over at Barton.
Maybe we shouldn't go contacting random pirates.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he might know some. Yeah. We'll keep it only on special occasions, maybe.
We don't have a great relationship with pirates.
I'm sure he's okay.
Concern.
But, if we start talking to him a lot and he tells some buddies about his friend Gloob and what he's doing and all that type kind of thing, then word might get out and, something might slip.
Are you trying to keep this conversation to the side, Julian?
I mean, I didn't get up and move wherever I was sitting, just kind of leaned over.
So that's a big no.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not shouting, and I was leaning over, but I'm not whispering or anything.
Right.
So it depends on how distracted you are.
I didn't get up and
I'll go for
move.
Oh. That's 12 plus 4.
I'd say you probably notice, yeah.
No. One-Eyed Darby's not like that.
Well, no, I wouldn't say he wouldn't sell us out or anything. He just, might be excited to tell somebody of some of the stuff we might do. So maybe just limit it a little bit.
No, he's not a bad pirate.
I don't say he's a bad pirate.
With his history of reading, does Julian know anything about this guy? Has that novel crossed his...
Roll a history check. This also kind of depends on the kind of literature that you read. From what I understand, the Adventures of One-Eyed Captain Darby is for a little younger audience for the most part.
That'll be a even 10.
I mean, you've probably seen it on a bookshelf at some point, but you've never read it. You never read The Adventures of One-Eyed
Fair
Captain
enough.
Darby.
Very well.
Not quite in your wheelhouse of preferred literature.
Well, I mean, if we were going to message him again, though, I probably need to know a little bit more about him. I think I read this book a little while back, but can you refresh me on it a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. Well, how's it go?
Glue will.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna think of a whole book off the rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable. Carry on.
Glue will sit down and kick his feet up on something and start reading through the book. He'll read the entire book for you. Which
If
How many
Blue will
pages
keep
is this
reading,
book?
It's supposed to be for a younger audience. I don't think it's supposed to be that long.
if you'll keep
I
reading,
don't know.
I will also sit there.
I don't know
Takes
if we're
me
talking about picture book or
A little more than that. It's
100 pages or so.
yeah, early chapter book is my understanding.
Like
Yeah,
Goosebumps
takes-
tier stuff.
yeah, maybe a little bit longer. Maybe like Hardy Boys type.
There you go.
Type.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Now I gotta pull up Gloob stuff. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Alex is like, actually, I wrote this whole fucking book.
That'd be pretty cool.
I didn't read the whole book. I thought about it. I really did. And maybe I still will.
Oh, this is an actual book?
No.
Oh. I thought you said something about reading the whole book, and I was like, wait, what?
No, he said, so you didn't write the whole thing?
Oh,
and
okay. Gotcha. I thought you said something about reading.
Alex is gonna write the whole book.
Yeah. I thought he was like, oh yeah, no, this is an actual fucking book. I was like, oh shit. Whoops. The music is very tense for the current conversational tone.
It really is.
Just gonna.
But yeah, he will read you the entire Tales and Travels of Captain One-Eyed Darby, and the last line of the book. Gloob, you guys may be asleep because it takes him like 2 hours to get through this. Gloob, while okay at common, is still not a amazing reader, so he reads it like a kid. But at the end, he says, "All right, the seas be a lonely voyage, but her blown kisses fill my sails from afar." And then you see he like rubs his thumb across the back of the page and then closes the book. Overall, just content about the entire thing. Very mediocre experience, probably for everybody else.
That was a good book, Blue.
I'm gonna give you a clap.
Julian nods non-committally.
This motherfucker right here. Well, I thought this prose was rather.
Well, it's like it's filled with like the really like overblown like swinging through the sails from one on a rope and like slashing around, firing off pistol shots, and kind of Pirates of the Caribbean-esque like
Firing
style
off-
craziness.
What?
Oh yeah,
Shots?
fuck me. God damn it. Nah, I established this earlier. They're not there. Hand crossbow shots. I'm getting myself all kinds of fucked up. Actually, it's a novel. It could 100% be talking about explosive.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
They're
is One-Eyed Darby like this version is like the D&D version of Star Wars?
there you go.
It's got like super future tech. It's like sci-fi.
That's not a
ocean
bad
adventure.
idea. It's not a bad
This
idea.
man out here is fucking using sending on Luke Skywalker.
What? What's
Or
Luke
Han Solo,
Skywalker?
I
Yeah,
guess,
I
might
was saying
be more
before
like
Han
that.
Solo. But yeah, it's that like I imagine Jones. Feel free to correct me. It's the overblown high adventure
Very much.
kind of craziness.
There is all of the high adventure with the undertones of a love story throughout the entire thing.
There you go.
All right. Well, I'm glad I learned all those things in that. That was a really good story.
It's my favorite.
He's quite a hero.
Whole lot becoming clear to Julian about certain of Gloob's motivations. You just feel like,
Yep.
oh,
I mean, I've been paying
Gonna
attention.
say,
noted.
Finn and I loved it.
Yeah, what was the name of his crew?
What do you mean?
Out of character, did he have like a crew of sailors or like a?
Yeah, like there was no set name for him or anything.
Oh, okay. Oh well, shit. Well, I mean, he sounds like a pretty cool guy. That's for sure. I mean, that book. I mean, for him to still be sailing the high seas or doing whatever he was doing, he seemed like he's still on his adventures till today.
It's gotta be.
Mm-hmm. Well, a story like that, I can definitely catch some Z's.
We still keeping watch, I assume.
Yeah, that's probably for the best, I reckon.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna leave the armor off tonight, get a nice good rest for. We have to start trekking through the swamp and have to get the halfling powder out again.
Unhooking the armor just as you like peel it off, the plate is just like stuck
Oh,
to your
no.
chest.
That chainmail standing up on its own.
When you make, I just imagine it being like pressure locked from steam and sweat. Like
That's kind of what I was
Darth Vader's
thinking.
helmet
Oh,
feeling down onto his
no.
head.
I was thinking kind of like peeling off like a sticker.
Chewie takes one solid step back.
Prestidigitation.
Oh god, that's fantastic.
And lots of it.
Often
The halfling
somatic
powder.
components.
Oh my god. Good stuff. All right, so you all lay out for the night, taking your watches as normal.
Mhm.
The night passes uneventfully. Contemplations may be had or not had. Who knows? Maybe staring off, like AOL sound going off in the head. I don't know how focused y'all are, but the next morning crests, and it is a new day. You guys end up probably sleeping in a little bit because y'all spent a couple hours being awake. Listen to one-eyed Captain Darby.
Yep.
But still up with the sun, not too high in the sky.
All right. Well,
And you know what? It's about 10 till. I think we will leave the events of this day and whatever excitement it may hold till next week and call it for tonight. So,
all right.
thank you all so much for coming out here to join us this evening. Thank you fellas for coming to play. It was a bit slower, but it's been, the slower pace has been earned over the recent past. It has been earned, so I enjoyed it. I hope y'all did as well. Good gracious. Well,
You do.
before we go, I'm going to shout out Extra Life one last time. Is the charity that benefits children's hospitals across continental North America. Specifically, we will be benefiting the Children's Hospital of Atlanta. They're building a new hospital, so helping more kids and stuff out and giving more places to go. And if you donate, you can also get a chance to win a digital copy of Tasha's Culture and Everything at $1,500, a SteelSeries Gaming mouse at $2,500, or a SteelSeries Gaming keyboard at $3,500. So take a look-see at that, helping some kids, maybe winning some cool stuff. It's super worth it. We also do this Go Saltmarsh here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays, and on Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our Across Eberron campaign, which is dungeon mastered by, I'm not looking at my thing, so I can't tell to make sure I'm pointing in the right direction, is DM'd by this guy right here, Johns, aka Gloop. Has myself as well as a couple of these fun fellas in it. We do fun things and face imminent demise on a regular basis, which is always tons of fun, and the Eldritch Forces of Zoriat. So, check us out there. But in the meantime tonight, we're going to go ahead and raid our friends over there at TTRPG Academy. So go ahead and show them some love with some support. Looks like they're having some nice conversating, presumably about Dungeons and Dragons things. So, go say hi, spread the love, and we'll see y'all later.